All right, looks like we're live. Frankie from Flatbush, FSPN, Thursday night football, Seattle Sea Chickens against the Arizona Redbirds from the desert. So we got a Thursday night football game. We're going to keep an eye on it. And we're also going to do some passing charts. We're going to do passing charts for Sammy Darnold and see, is he passing really well, or is he just getting lucky and a lot of yak and all of this? We'll find out because we're going to keep track of it. Yep, you name it, we track it. That's what we do here at FSPN HQ. So that's what we will be doing. Hopefully everything's working out all right. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Let me know. And we'll get some banners going. Uh, you know, and at halftime, maybe we'll listen to some music and do all sorts of things like that as we play around here in StreamYard and continue to compare StreamYard with Restream and other things and see what we prefer to work on these live streams. During the week, we normally do a live stream on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. called Coffee with Frankie. We're not going to be drinking coffee today. Oh, no. It's a little too late for the coffee, so we might drink a little agua, uh, but certainly no coffee at this hour. So as we prepare for the game, the players are walking in. We're about 15, 20 minutes out from the game, so we can just chit chat, before the game starts, see what folks are thinking about, talking about, want to know about as the NFL train rolls on. Today is the first game of the fourth week of the NFL season for 2025. It's already basically a month old, if you can believe it. And and of course, our New York Jetsies, not so bueno. 0 and 3, 0 and 3. But if you want to be optimistic, two of those losses were by 2 points. And we got we got a rookie head coach and a rookie offensive coordinator and a first year, quarterback with that combo, all together. So, and in that, the first two out of the three games, we lost by 2 points each. So, and in one of those, our backup quarterback played. So, I mean, yeah, that's if you want to be optimistic. And then Justin Fields comes back this week. We'll see him on Monday night. We'll be doing a live stream of that game over on Green Bean's channel. So if you're familiar with the great Green Bean, we do live streams of all the Jet games along with Mr. Jet's Chaos, Jeremy himself. So that's what's coming up. But in this game, you have an interesting matchup between tiny Kyler Murray and slinging Sammy Darnold. And so it'll be interesting to see what these teams are all about. Both of these teams are at interesting positions. The Arizona Cardinals really need to contend right now. It's been a few years with Mr. Gannon as the head coach. So it's time for them to put up or shut up, I think. They've been sort of like one of these teams that are on the cusp now for a little while. Now it's time to compete. And they got tiny Kyler. And so it's time to compete for them. They got to make the playoffs. I mean, no more excuses. They got the players, they got the wide receivers, they got the quarterback, they got the tight end, they got the defense, right? The offensive line, good. They did lose James Conner the other week, so that's no good for their running backs. But still, everybody has injuries. And for the Seattle Sea Chickens, year two under Mike McDonald, and now they have their preferred quarterback in Sling and Sammy D. And so now it's time for them to compete as well. They've got a fearsome defense also. Can the offense put up enough points to win some ball games here under old McDonald? Because, it's about time for that. I mean, I think they have enough talent to compete. No doubt about it. Can Sam Darnold keep up his hot play? Started out first game not so great, but then last 2 games he's been slinging it. So maybe he's becoming more consistent. Maybe he's finally becoming that quarterback that everybody wanted him to be with the Jets and Adam Gase and all of that going on. But yeah, if you can hear me in the chat, it would be good if you let me know. I also need to check and make sure that all of these functions are working. If you can't hear my microphone, then say something in the chat. It'd be good to know video check, audio check. Unlike Restream, this doesn't have a microphone check thing that you can put on here. Jojo says, all good. All right. Good to see you, Jojo. Jojo was a man from Tucson, Arizona. Get back, Jojo. Bought some California grass. Get back. Get back. Get back to where you once belonged. All right, good. So the microphone's working. All right. So this seems to be working out okay technically. That's good. This does not tell me, however, that I could get comments from X. So we might have to do some tweaking on this end, but nobody really comments from X anyways. So the comments all come in from YouTube. YouTube. Oh, and one of the games for Sammy Darnold was against the Saints. That doesn't count. I can put up 300 yards against the Saints. What are we talking about? So we'll have to see. Now, the Cardinals should have a good defense. I'm not sure where they rank exactly at the moment, but they have really good players. And they also picked up Calais Campbell in the offseason, the ageless wonder. He's still doing work at his old age. That guy's a miracle of nature, freak of nature. Should be a good, good divisional game. That division is up in flux because the 49ers have 10,000 million injuries. What are they going to be? Who knows? Looks like the Rams are the class of the division right now. These Cardinals are having a problem with Maserati Marv. He can't catch the ball. You know, we get mad at Alan Lazard. We get mad at Tyler Johnson. These people are not, these people are not first round picks. Maserati Marv was a top pick, and he can't catch the ball. What is going on? I'm thinking I want to see Sammy do well. Yeah, I don't mind Sammy doing well. I'm not one of these people, Mo, that gets mad at old ex-Jets if they do good. I don't care. You know, Sammy was a good soldier when he was here. What did Sammy Darnold do wrong when he was here, other than not play well enough? We didn't do him right. We didn't surround him with enough talent. We didn't surround him with a good coaching situation. So why am I what am I gonna do? Get mad at Sam Darnold? No. I hope he does well. He's a nice guy, nice kid. And it leads credence. I mean, there's a lot of these people who are having these renaissance careers. You know, you got your Sammy Darnold, you got your Marcus Mariota, you got your Indiana Jones. Okay, how about Indianapolis Jones? What about Daniel Jones? How do you think the Giant fan feels? Here are the Giants. They're 0-3. Daniel Jones, they didn't want. They had him playing safety in the scout team. He's in Indiana going 3-0, looking sweet. And at the same time, the other guy they let go, Saquon, was an MVP candidate, had an all-time season last year, and won the Super Bowl with the Eagles. Try being a Giants fan at the moment. You know, we think we got it bad. I mean, the Giants are used to being good. The Giant fan is used to having a good team and a good franchise. And now they're dealing with these people, and people still think highly of Brian Daboll for some reason. But now, so Russell Wilson, they say, no, Russell Wilson, he stinks. All right, well, you handpicked him in for agency. You wanted this guy. And now he stinks, and now you got to bring in Jaxson Dart. I mean, hope he works out, but what if Jackson Dart doesn't play well in his rookie season, which happens a lot? I mean, are they going to fire Daboll finally and say, "All right, listen, enough with this Daboll guy. Couldn't get enough out of Daniel Jones. Couldn't make it work with Russell Wilson. Couldn't make it work, which he handpicked. That was handpicked. Handpicked out of free agency. That didn't work. And then if Jackson Dart doesn't work, I mean, how long are they going to wait? One of these days, Brian Daboll's genius will be known to everyone. Well, when? I mean, at what point? At what at what point do we realize that Josh Allen's turnaround was about Josh Allen? It was not about Brian Daboll in any way, shape, or form. At some point, we're going to have to realize that. But I mean, imagine being a Giants fan right now. Indiana Jones is 3-0. Saquon Barkley's a Super Bowl champion and probably going back to the Super Bowl or at least back to the playoffs for sure. Indiana Jones 3-0 down there in Indianapolis. And, Saquon Barkley. So, and then they got, hey, they got Cam Scattaboo, Skiddly Doo Scattaboo. Great. And Malik Neighbors, who has a new injury every 5 minutes. And now they're trying another quarterback. They couldn't make it work with Daniel Jones. They couldn't make it work with Tommy DeVito. They couldn't make it work with this one and that one. I mean, how many quarterbacks? They say you only get one quarterback. You only get one quarterback. Some people, dumb people say. Not Brian Daboll and Joe Shane. They get 10,000 quarterbacks. What about Chris Greer? How many quarterbacks did he get? How many quarterbacks did the general manager of the Colts get? This microphone work is thirsty work. It's thirsty work. Jojo says Marvin is becoming a bust. Well, it's interesting. I mean, think about Quentin Johnston. What about him? First 2 years in the league, he couldn't stop dropping passes. He dropped more balls than, well, I don't want to make that joke, but, and now this year, all of a sudden catching everything. So what the hell? What goes on with these wide receivers? I mean, I think you're going to have to wait, 4 or 5 years. I mean, Marvin Harrison has everything you want in a wide receiver. Speed, height, NFL pedigree, everything. Never dropped balls like this, and now he's dropping them all over the place. Well, what happened to Quentin Johnston? I mean, Quentin Johnston with the Chargers, they stuck with him. I thought they would get rid of that guy. All he did was drop passes, but they stuck with him, and now he's a good option for Herbo. So I don't know what to make of these wide receivers. Yeah. Yeah. The Green Bean called it at the time. He said, we got to trade back, keep Darnold, see if it works. And now it looks, yeah, he was pretty smart. And my reason, but he never really gave the right reason. The right reason for that was because we didn't have enough information on Zach Wilson to make him the second overall pick. A guy with Zach Wilson's profile, there just was not enough information for you to feel comfortable taking him 2 overall. I'd have felt comfortable about him for a second round pick or third round pick, sure. But the opportunity cost was way too high to pick Wilson where we did when we had the opportunity to trade back, get a haul, and then pick up. I mean, think about that draft. We could have had, depending on what the trade was, we could have had Penei Sewell. We could have had Micah Parsons. We could have had Pat Surtain. I mean, the entire direction of the franchise would be completely different if we traded that pick. And of course, nobody really is catching on to this idea that the philosophy of drafting should come from that academic paper, The Loser's Curse. And by the way, if you're a Frankie channel member, you have access to The Loser's Curse, that paper. You can get it in the files, amongst many other things. but that paper outlines the fact that almost any time you have a chance to trade back, you should do it. Anytime you can pick up some picks relatively easily, or painlessly. You should do it because the more guys you can pick, the better. You never know which one is going to be a hit and which one's going to be a miss. The perfect example is the Baltimore Ravens needed a tight end in a certain year, and they had a bunch of fourth round picks. They used two of them on tight ends. Here's the kickoff to the Arizona Cardinals with the nice end zone design. And the man takes it out to the 26-yard line. That's where they're going to start. And so what the Ravens did, they said, we're not just going to take one tight end. We'll take two because we don't know which one. We like them both. We don't know which one's going to be better. We'll just take them both. And it turned out to be Isaiah Likely and Charlie Kolar. And turns out Likely was better. And Kolar's been a role player. But it worked out. They got pretty much a superstar in Likely, as far as pass catching anyway. And they got a role player out of it. But that's what you do. You stack up your picks because you're never sure which one's going to be the one. All right. Now Kyler's starting on the 26-yard line. He's got a 3-by-1 formation, 3-by-2 formation. Nobody in the backfield. Throws it out to Maserati Marv on a wide receiver screen type play. Not technically a screen, but a short pass, and he ran it about 7-8 yards. So that's a good pickup on first down. That's what you want to be doing. All right, maybe get Maserati Marv into the flow a little earlier. Maybe that's the thinking. He does have 11 catches, 150 yards on the season with one touchdown. But for someone who with such high expectations, they expect a little bit more after 3 games than just 11 catches, Mr. Maserati. So now Kyler in the shotgun, which is his preferred location. Looking to the left, throwing. He's got a man. It's Trey McBride, also another good tight end. That's a good guy there's another guy who never drops a pass, pretty much, as far as I know. So they got Trey McBride. Remember, we liked him in that draft as well. That was the draft when we picked up. That was the draft when we signed Tyler Conklin and the other guy. And then we said, well, we don't need tight end anymore. So then we got Breece Hall, which was a good pick in the second round. But now Kyler's under center, more of a standard formation. Looks like 12 personnel here. And it's a running play to Mercado, I believe. It doesn't go anywhere. Stuffed up pretty good by the Sea Chickens. So now it's second down and 10. Didn't get anything there. Now this Seahawk defense is a very stout defense. Good defensive line, good linebackers, pretty good in the back end, including some excellent cornerbacks. So now there's an RPO with Kyler taking off, and he only gets 2 or 3 yards. Not what you want. Not what you want for Mr. Kyler. Those are the kind of things you worry about with these running quarterbacks, and definitely Kyler's one of these running quarterbacks. A lot of zone reads for Mr. Murray, and just got caught on the backside. Couldn't outrun Hall. Not too familiar with Mr. Hall's game. Drew Petzig is the offensive coordinator. Maybe he's a defensive end. He's lining up in the end. And you see McDonald. Now, McDonald comes from the Psycho School of Defense. Don't forget. That's old Winky Dink Martindale. Ooh, there's a... See, now that's not good. That would be called a not good pass. Kyler floated one up there. But don't forget, Mike McDonald, the head coach of the Seahawks, defensive coach, came from the Winky Dink Martindale School of Defense, which is the same as the Brian Flores School of Defense, which is basically the Psycho School of Defense. Off balance, throwing. That was just not good. Let's put it under the no bueno category. You don't throw it like that, Kyler. Mr. Kyler. All right, now the Seahawks are going to have it in the 13-yard line. And again, we're going to monitor these throws by Darnold. We're going to rank them: elite, great, solid, routine, and so forth and so on. We'll see what he ends up with as a score at the end of the game. Havmo says, Seahawks in first or second year. This is their second year with Mr. McDonald. So, but, they didn't have to go through the young quarterback situation. They had Geno, and now they have Sammy D. So I mean, the roster's stacked. I mean, look at that roster. What's bad about the roster? You could say maybe they need another wide receiver or something, but they have a really good roster, so I expect them to compete. They need to be competing for playoffs this year, or they need to be in the playoffs this year, not competing for. McDonald is a highly respected defensive coach, again, out of the Winky Dink Martindale School of Psycho Defense, which is my preferred kind of defense, if you want to know the truth. These days, I think you got to be completely psychotic on defense. You gotta hit them in places they don't even know they had a place to hit. That's the way I think. All these coaches who want to be simple and keep it easy to remember, that's not going to get it done in this NFL, in my opinion. You got to be so crazy they have no idea what hit them. That's the way I see it. I like the Brian Flores, Wink Martindale, Mike McDonald defenses. These kind of defenses. You get amoeba fronts, you get all kind of crazy crap going on, double mug, the A gap, and all of this. And that's what you need to do. Confuse the hell out of the offense. If you don't confuse the offense, you're not getting anywhere in this NFL. The players are too good these days. The coaches are too good. They spend 28 hours a day studying film. The minute you do something, they got film on it. So you just need to completely mess with everybody at all times. It's the way I see it. So we'll have to see. They're showing the desert now. That would be Arizona. A lot of cacti in Arizona. A lot of cacti. Matthias Simon, accept ours. Well, ours isn't. That's my point, Matthias. We don't. We're simple. Always have been. Yeah, you got to be creative. I think tape is everywhere. If I have the tape, everybody's got the tape. I got the tape the instant the game's over. All right, now here's Sam Darnold, eighth season. This is just starting from the 14-yard line. He's in the shotgun. Two wide receivers to his left, hands it off to the running back, Kenneth Kenneth Walker. They call him K9 because his number is 9. Get it? And he didn't go anywhere. So that got stuffed. Second down and long. This is probably a pass right here. Second and 10, no gain. Now they got 4 men on the left side. Nobody in the backfield with Darnold. Puts nobody in motion. They got a 4 stack. They throw it out to Walker. That's a nice play right there. He gets a long gainer out of Yak. So that would be called a routine throw, but got big yards out of it. And that was a nice concept. Let's put all these people out here, including the running back. All these other people, they're going to be blockers for our running back. One, and we got the numbers. That's a beautiful play. Nicely done. Nicely done by the OC. This is great design. I got numbers out there. Why they didn't shift more people over there to that side, I don't know, the Cardinals, but nonetheless. But that's a routine throw for Darnold. That was not a hard throw for him, but he made it. And that's what you got to do. You got to make your routine throws. There's another one, same thing. Routine right to the outside. Jaxson, Smith-Njigba, not many yards there, but that's another routine throw. That's 2 for Darnold. 2 for 2 on his routine throws. Jojo says that's why Flores was. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded Flores. Wouldn't have minded Flores. I wouldn't have minded Flores. I'm a big Brian Flores fan. All right, Darnold now under center. Got a 2-by-2 formation here. One man in the backfield. I believe it's K9. It is. They give him the ball, and he twirls around, and now he's running to the outside, and now he loses even more yardage. Boy, that's no good. Now it's going to be third and long. All right, so here's a money down for Darnold. You're not going to run a screen here, probably. You have to run a real play. I forget who the it's Clint Kubiak. So Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. Well-respected man as far as offensive play calling is concerned. So let's see what he dials up here on they call it 3rd and 10. Shouldn't it be longer than 10? Well, I guess they gave him forward progress. That was a fortunate spot for the Seahawks. 5 seconds on the shot clock. We've got 5 men going out for a pass. He throws it quickly underneath, and see, that is not. He fought for it, almost got it, but that is not high level quarterback play. On 3rd and 10, we throw a 4-yard pass. But again, routine throw, and he made it. So nothing too impressive so far, but they are moving the ball. Let's see what they do on 4th down. This was an easy pass, and then one missed tackle, and then he just drags dudes. Good effort by the wide receiver, Thornton. That's Horton, Torrey Horton. So they're going to go for it on 4th and short. Aggressive play calling here. In the shotgun is Darnold. See if they run QB power. They do not. They hand the ball off and don't get it. You want to be aggressive, and then you run your least creative play. Well, now you just set up the other team. So that's the other side of aggression is stupidity. Maybe you run a play on 3rd and 10 that's not a 4-yard pass and hope that your late round wide receiver can drag dudes across the line. Maybe that might be smart. I don't know. Crazy, but so basically on that play, we had Sam Darnold with 3 routine passes. A routine pass is worth 1 point. So Darnold right now has a passing grade of 1.0. 3 times 1 is 3. Out of 3, that's 1. And that equals a C. And C is a passing grade. That means I can win with you. And so Sam Darnold right now has a C so far on the ball game in the old Frankie passing grades. Avmo says, Cards in a playoff drought, also wild card loss in 21, NFC champ loss in 15, wild card loss in 14. Okay. That's better than us, though. It's better than us, Avmo. But yeah, but it's time for them to compete, Avmo. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is it's time in the Gannon, era for them to compete. He's had enough time. He's gotten his players. Let's go. Supposed to be a good coach. Came from the Eagles. Let's go. What are we waiting for? Let's go. It's time now. Gannon, there's no excuses. You stuck with your quarterback. You gave him all the money. You got Maserati Marv. You got Trey McBride. You got a good offensive line. You got running backs. You got everything. You got a good defense. You're supposed to be a defensive mind. Gannon, you got Clint Kubiak. Supposed to be a good play caller. Didn't like that last series there. Some plays were good, but a 4-yard pass on 3rd and 10, I don't love it. But, hey, almost worked. But what's the excuse for Gannon? So to me, I don't look at this ancient history stuff, Havmo. I look at who's the current regime. In this case, it's Gannon and what's his name? Monteforte or whatever his name is. Asenfort, whatever. The GM that came in with him pretty much. And so now it's time. It's go time for them. Why is it not? It's go time. Let's go. Yeah, of course we should have. We said so at the time. Remember Green Bean saying so, Matthias? I mean, Matthias said it at the time. Keep Darnold, trade down, and if Darnold doesn't work, now you got a stacked team. You just sign a veteran. Then there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 available every year. It's pretty obvious. Green Bean was right, Matthias? He said it at the time. Said it before he wasn't second guessing. He said that's what we should do, and I agree. So now we got Tiny Kyler on the field again in the shotgun. Let's see if the Cardinals can move the ball a little better this time. Screen pass to McBride, and Tiny Kyler can't get it over Boye Mafe. Another Green Bean favorite there, Boye Mafe, number 53. Greg Dortch, former Jet on this Cardinal team as well. But they tried to do a tight end screen. I don't think that was going to work anyway. The defender was coming up to tackle him anyhow, so might have been better off with an incompletion there. But we'll see how Tiny Kyler does now as he goes from the shotgun. He's got a 2-by-2 formation here, and all 5 men go out, and he throws downfield, and oh, my goodness. That's going to. So we had an interception. Then we had what looked like a penalty on the hit, and then the guy lost the ball. And now they're saying the Cardinals recovered it. I think he's going to be down by contact, but we got to see if the ball was moving. But I think also the guy got hit in the head and then lost the ball. And they're saying the Cardinals have it. This has got to be reviewed. Kobe Bryant I think, picked it off. And he's running. Oh, his own man hit him. So that's, oh, boy. Well, that's still an interception on Kyler's record. So there's that aspect. Why is his own man hitting him? That's weird. But that was a terrible pass. Can we focus on the pass? What was Kyler thinking? I mean, you saw the last third down put up a terrible pass, and now this one he just throws it right to him. What was going on? Exactly. And now the Cardinals are going to get the ball back. I think he did fumble it. You, I thought the other team hit him in the head. His own guy hit him in the head, so you can't throw a penalty on that. The Dodester is here. Alan Dodge is a member of the Inner Circle, which you can join on this channel using the join button. Inner Circle, you get exclusive videos, you get exclusive documents, including Frankie scores, drive chart data, proprietary data. You get all sorts of things. You get the loser's curse. If you want that, join the Inner Circle. We got the Inner Circle, the Inner Triangle, and the Inner Square. Whatever price point fits your budget. $2, $5, $10, whatever you'd like to do to support the channel. But I think it's a great value. Havmo says, "Who do you think wins Sunday morning?" Well, we're going to keep an eye on it, Havmo. When we go live, a coffee with Frankie, we'll have the game on, so we'll see what's going on. It's going to be Carson Wentz against old Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers not exactly having a great season. However, the Steelers have lucked out on 2 wins out of 3 games, so they're 2-1, while we're 0-3. So we'll see. The Vikings probably have the better team, but it all depends on what Carson Wentz are you getting. That guy is high variable. So high variance, I guess you'd say. So you get great plays out of Wentz and you get crazy plays sometimes. So we'll got to see how he plays. Does he play crazy Carl or does he play cool, calm, collected Carl? Are you down by contact? If you're no, you're not. That was a weird play. I thought he got hit in the head by the other team. He got hit in the head by friendly fire. God's sakes. And now you've seen 2 terrible, terrible passes. Terrible by Kyler. Now, it hasn't cost him. One was an incompletion. This was an interception that had a funky ending, and the Cardinals recovered the ball back. So now Murray goes back on the field after these horrible passes. And so now it's 1st and 10 from the 47, the plus 47-yard line about. And he hands the ball off to Mercado. He's got a big hole. He's going to go for about 10, 11, 12 yards. I think that's Mercado. 33. No, that's Benson. Trey Benson. So young player, I think 2nd year for Trey Benson, if I recall correctly. Let's see on this throw. Oh, we thought Marv was going to continue, and Marv cut his route short. Okay. Who knows who's right there? Probably the quarterback, because it doesn't make any sense why you would stop your route right there. I don't think. Well, who knows? But anyway, now Kyler in the shotgun. Looks to his left, looks to the middle, happy feet, now running out and finds the running back. Benson breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, but only gets about 3 or 4 yards. So it'll be 3rd down. Looks like a penalty, probably face mask. It's about fumble. Yeah. Yeah, we would hope so, Otto, right? Personal foul, face mask, defense. So that's a 1st down. Yeah, you got to tune in to FSPN. Have most Sunday mornings coffee with Frankie, the flagship program on this channel, the FSPN, the Frankie Sports Programming Network, because FESPN, let's be honest. But yeah, we'll keep track of that game. and see what's going on. I like the morning games on Sunday when they come around. Some people don't like them. I like them, especially if the Jets aren't playing that day. That way, we could watch a game at 9:30. We could watch a game at 1 o'clock. We could watch a game at 4:30. Then we could watch another game at 8 o'clock. I mean, we could watch football all doggone day. Now here's a trick play to Dortch. He goes to his right and gets a couple of yards. So second down. Now the Cardinals have not exactly looked great so far. However, they're in the middle red zone here. Uh, for this team, you might call it the Red Sea zone. But the Seahawk defense really self-inflicted wounds. They really should have. They did a good job on the first drive, and then they intercepted Kyler, and then they gave the ball right back. So that was craziness. So you can't say the defense playing too bad. Now Kyler back to pass, looks to his right, throws. He's got his tight end. I think it's McBride. Yep. He never drops a pass. Boy, those sure-handed tight ends. I think if Mason Taylor can be anything like these sure-handed tight ends that some of these teams have, like Laporta, like McBride, anything like that, will be in good shape. A nice safety blanket for our QB. Let's hope we get one of those out of Mason Taylor. That would be nice. Yeah, the butt fumble, when you do it on Thanksgiving, and everybody watching that game, there's a penalty, offsides or encroachment. You're encroaching. Offside, false start it is. Yeah, because it happened on Thanksgiving and everybody's watching and all of that. Never going to have the same impact. And plus, once you have one butt fumble, you can't really have a second one. It's like the novelty of it is gone. And Jets, good evening. Hope everyone's doing well. Good to see Ant Jets 82 in the chat. Ant Jets is an OG for sure. All right, now it's 3rd down and 9. So again, the Cardinals have not exactly looked sharp. But here's Kyler now looking over the middle. He's got a man. It's Dortch. He bounces off a tackler. Now, and you see some of these other teams, they also have trouble tackling. We're not the only one. First of all, it's hard to tackle these dudes these days. Yeah, everybody's like, they train 24 hours a day, 365, these athletes these days. Not like the old days. All right, M. Woe became a YouTube member. Well, thank you, M. Woe. And I will say to everybody, I do think it's a good value. You get exclusive videos, and some of the videos I do are about some things that you would ordinarily have to pay for, like a PFF subscription, a DVOA subscription, match quarter subscription. You don't have to subscribe to these things. I'll subscribe to them, and then I'll do a video about them, show you what they're all about, and then do an analysis of the data. That way you get your money's worth, So thank you to M. Whoa. Let me know if you have a question or anything, M. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. 4th down and 8. Now they're going for the field goal. So it hasn't exactly gone swimmingly for the Cardinals to start this ball game, but they're going for a 32-yard field goal here. Why do they keep interrupting the game? What's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on over here? Oh, can we kick a field goal, please, referees? Can we just have a football game without stopping it every 2 seconds? No. Got to have some kind of rules violation every 2 seconds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now they're ready to kick a field goal. He gets it down, puts it up, and it is good. So there's your 3 points. All right. Chad Ryland. The Cardinals are wearing the rivalry uniform tonight. If you notice, what do you think of the rivalry uniform for the Cardinals? I think it looks terrible. Looks like it's dirty. Needs a washing. Looks like the uniforms need to go to the washing machine. But that's just me. Let me know if you like the rivalry uniforms of the Arizona Cardinals. And on Monday night, the Dolphins will be wearing their rivalry uniform. Brand new, brand spanking new. So we'll get to see that during the game. So that'll be exciting. That'll be very exciting. So if you're new here, we are tracking Sam Darnold's passes. So far tonight, he has 3 passes, all routine, all of the routine variety. We categorize passes as elite, great, solid, routine, bad, interceptable, batted, and throwaways. And obviously, elite is the best kind of throw. And you get extra points for that. Great, then great, solid, routine, bad. So Sam Darnold has 3 routine passes so far. Therefore, he has a C grade on his passing so far in this ball game. And return goes out to about the 22, 21, 22-yard line. So that is where the Seahawks will begin. And I'm showing the end of last season. That's the last thing Donald wants to think about. Our Donald under center now looks like 12 personnel here. And heavy formation pulls it back, throws a little screen pass out to one of the receivers. Again, a nice little pass, but that I would characterize as routine. Routine passes are ones which you should hit every single time. Easy, no complexity to them, not far down the field, etc. So I think Clint Kubiak is doing a good job in getting Darnold into a rhythm. Let him settle in for some nice. They say 3 for 3. I have met for 4, but one of those might have been a backward pass. So if they're saying 3 for 3, I'm going to have to alter my thing. But there's a running play for K9 Walker. So one of those must have been a backward pass. So then he has 3, not 4. All right. Doesn't change the score at all, but 2nd and 1. So the running game they're trying to get going with Kenny Walker. They also have Charbonnet, a nice fine wine for a running back. 2nd down and 1, 3:27 to go in the first quarter. Looks like 12 personnel with twins on the left-hand side. Darnold in the shotgun, hands it off to Walker, goes to the outside, and there he goes down the field, 50, 40-yard line, 35. That's a big gainer for K9. They thought they were going to run it inside. They went outside and tricked them. Good job that time by Mr. Walker. Zaven Collins probably missed. Oh, no, he just got blocked. Just enough to spring him. Big gainer there for the K9 man. Now a man in motion. Darnold under center. 2 by 2. They hand it to Walker again, and he goes through the middle and for another gainer. So here you see the Cardinal defense really getting carved up a bit, especially by the running game. Now the Cardinal defense should be good. They've been building it for a while now. So Darnold now fakes the handoff, and now he looks to throw and can't find anybody, and that's a bad pass. That's his first bad one. Bad is 1. So Dodes wants to know, in the Frankie grading system, does it hurt the score more to miss a great pass compared to an elite pass? No, it's the same. If it's a bad pass, it's a bad pass. Doesn't matter if it would have been elite. The only negative categories are bad and interceptable. So, we'll see. I mean, we're also trying out the system. It could be that we need to make some changes and some alterations, but that's one of the reasons I'm bringing it out during these live streams. Now, what do you grade this pass as? He got it between 2 defenders. One almost picked it. What do you grade this one as? Let's take a look at the replay. Sometimes it's a judgment call, of course. There was offsides by the. I would say because of the presence of the defender, I'm going to give him a solid. Mac Wilson. I'm going to say that's a little different than a routine. I'll give him a solid. Well, a little generous there maybe, but I think he got it past Wilson, the defender. So now Darnold back to pass, looks to his left, got an open receiver. Can he hit him? Yes, sir. So this Cardinal defense not looking good. Barner, tight end. Now that was is that routine or solid? These are the judgment calls we got to make. A routine pass is check down screen. Expect these to be completed every time. Solid is typically 8 to 12 yards downfield. Yeah, I'm going to give this a solid. Accurate on coverage bust, jumpers. Yeah, that was a solid. So that's a 2. Now he's got 2 of those. So now, yeah, because of that one bad pass, he's still at a 1 grade, which is a C. But he's got 2 solid passes, 3 routine, 1 bad. Make sure this is working right. 4, 3. We got to make sure our math is working correctly. Seems to not be, which would be disturbing. He's got 6 passes so far. 2, 4, 3, 3. That's 7, 6. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's working. All right. Last thing you want is for your math to not work. Sammy D is cooking. Yeah. I would say nice schemed up. I would say instead of saying Sammy D is cooking, I would say nice schemed up passes by Clint Kubiak, some nice easy ones. And then he made a couple of solid throws. So nice job by Darnold. Ant Jets, I remember the videos with the wire clip at the end. Yeah, I would put that in there. But it didn't seem to make a difference to people. So now I don't have time. Yeah, I just don't have time, Ant Jets. Tony Alexio, the man with the packages. I hope adjustments are made. Well, everybody, Tony Alexio, this is a talking point now. Move Stevens to safety. Here's my point of view. Stevens hasn't played safety for 5 years and played no snaps in the preseason, training camp, or at any time since 5 years ago. So if we did that, what's the chances it would be that he'd be good at it? He hasn't done it in 5 years. Not one snap. So I understand that amongst the brain dead Jetterati, this is a talking point, but I don't see it. Now, that being said, Steve Wilks has proven himself to be not so hot. So he might do it because he might be just that retarded. But I would say that'd be unlikely. But then again, I don't know. I don't have a good feel for Steve Wilks right now. I was told he was a defensive genius. Not seeing the genius so much so far. Yeah. Well, but that's not Sam Darnold's fault. That's our fault for not, knowing how to build a team and not knowing how to hire a coach. And also, we don't get offensive coaches here. The Clint Kubiak wouldn't want to be our offensive coordinator, for example. Kevin O'Connell wouldn't want to work for us, for example. So that's something we're going to have to figure out. And that's why we got to hope Aaron Glenn is the real deal. And hopefully Tanner Engstrand can be good. And we can start putting together a winning program, because then if you become a winning team, teams will overlook the Woody Johnson thing. But if you're going to be a losing team and you're going to have to deal with Woody Johnson, what offensive genius who is going to be in high demand is going to want to come here? Yeah, Michael Carter. Michael Carter hasn't played safety his entire career in the NFL. So he'd be better. It's a better idea for him because he's a nickel cornerback, which is close to free safety. And he did play a lot of different positions in college. But I just don't see moving people out of position and expecting them to play good when you haven't given them any snaps in the training camp or anything. That's just not how I see life really working. But like I said, Wilkes might do it. He might be a crazy bastard. I don't know. I don't have a good feel for Steve Wilkes right now, be honest with you. By the end, Robert Saleh and Olbrich, one thing, you could get a feel for what they were going to do. For better or worse, you knew how they were going to attack problems. All right, Kyler now back to pass again, and there he goes down. Sack-a-lacka-lacka for a combo of dudes. I think that's Uchenna Nwosu, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Good job. Good job. 3rd and 15 now. Nwosu coming off the edge. Let's see who he beats. Paris Johnson knows a puller. He beats the puller. Nice job. Maybe don't pull a guy to try and block Nwosu. But they had 2 guys to block him. He just goes inside. Boy, oh boy. That's got to drive an OC nuts. I brought 2 guys to block him, and we couldn't block him? Doge says Stevens needs to watch AZ. Now that's the more likely thing. But Doge and everybody, we said this from the time we got Stevens, right? Like, I'm not second guessing. I told you the minute we got him, it was a mistake. The second we got him. But then we were told by the media, oh, our coaching staff is going to change him. Don't worry, everybody. These coaches are going to sprinkle magic coaching dust on him, and he's going to become a different player than he's been the last 4 years for the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I told you that's bullshit. Me, Frankie, from his apartment, from FSPN. I told you that. Meanwhile, the New York Times was lying to you. The Athletic is owned by the New York Times, in case you didn't know. So now here's 3rd and 15. Kyler on the money down, running. That's not good quarterback play to run out of bounds on 3rd and 15. So again, money down, Kyler running, not good. Not good because you're not going to make the yardage. What are you doing? It's basically got no chance. So 7-3. So far, Darnold's playing better than Kyler, that's for sure. Kyler is not having a good game at all so far. But Dodes, the other thing is we signed him for $12 million a year for 3 years. When you sign a guy at that level, the coaching staff and the organization is saying they love this guy. Now, if we had signed Stevens for $2-3 million, all right, cool. We gave him $12 million, and that means they believe in him. And I would be shocked if they benched him unless it gets really, really, really bad for multiple games. So we'll see. That was probably the biggest mistake of the Muji era so far, especially because it knocked out a 4th-round pick that we could have had. So it's not just that we picked him. It's not just that we gave him that much money. It was the opportunity cost of what we could have done with the same amount of money, and it knocked out a draft pick that we could have had a 4th-round comp pick. Now we don't get that because we got Stevens. So that was a very, very costly mistake by Mr. Muji. Now, I will say he has been trying to fix said mistakes with these, with the trades he's made. And he's made 4 excellent trades since he got his staff in there. So if you want to be optimistic about it, they made some mistakes in the draft. Yeah, they made some mistakes in free agency. But since Muji has gotten his own staff in there, when they hired them all in the summertime, the 4 trades they've made since then have been excellent. So, excellent values. So maybe that's hopefully some optimism of things to come. Maybe Muji was in over his head in the beginning because he didn't have his people. And so he made some mistakes. All right, we're going to have to live with that. But maybe he's good now that he has his staff in place. Maybe we'll have some, smarter transactions moving forward. Let's think of it that way. Yeah, and Otto, guess what? Woody's not leaving. So, I mean, unless he dies, he's not leaving the Jets under any circumstances other than death. And then even then, we got Christopher. So now maybe Christopher will be better, but Woody's not leaving. The Johnson family's not leaving ever. You're stuck with them. There's no reason. Why would they ever leave this team? Wilkes reminds me of Hackett. Useless. Well, let's hope not. But so far, yeah. I'm going to reserve the right to keep judging. But as of right now, when the man says the defensive bus will be driven from the back, it makes you think he's retarded. And let's hope he's not. But when you say things like that, that's stupid. We understand that the defensive backs are important and we want them to tackle well. And it's important that they are good players. But you can't then ignore and just totally neglect defensive line. And they did that, except then they made those 2 trades late for Harrison Phillips and Briggs, and that was good. But then they still haven't addressed edge sufficiently. They still made the call that Michael Clemens was good enough. He's not good enough. He's not strong enough. Same thing for McGregor, and same thing for Tyler Barron. So they've started to address some of the issues. They made a nice trade for this Brownlee guy. He's looking like a real player, actually. And so we'll see, but they still haven't addressed safety and they still haven't addressed edge. Here's a run by Charbonnet, I think. A nice, fine Charbonnet, ages well, pairs well with a nice steak, I believe. So now it's second down and 5 or so? Yeah, the Patriots are selling shares. If you follow me on X, I reported that this morning. They're not selling shares, they're selling 8, well, I guess technically they are. They're selling about 8% of the team to outside interest, 5% to the Metropolis Group, and 3% to somebody else. So in other words, what does that mean? That means Robert Kraft is going to have what? Class? Liquidity. And what is that liquidity going to mean? Well, it means he can sign more players in terms of signing bonuses and things of that nature. So the more liquidity that you have, the better you can make your team. So all of the teams in the AFC East are selling a portion of the franchise, except for the Jets. The Jets are not. So the Bills, the Dolphins, and now the Patriots have all either done so or are going to do so and sell part of the team in order to get some liquidity out of the valuation of the team. That team is going to be valued at about $9 million, which, by the way, is going to raise the value of the Jets, in case you didn't know that. Now that there's a sale, there's a transaction that's going to be coming up, and the team was valued at 9, and I believe they were lower than the Jets. I could be wrong about that. If in the estimated valuations they were lower than the Jets on the list of NFL franchises, and then they do this, and there's a transaction and it's valued at 9. Let's say the other value was 7.5. Then all the teams above the Patriots would also go up. So we'll have to see about that. I forget if they were below us. They were probably ahead of us, actually. The Jets are like 6th or 7th on the list. Mac Wilson has an injury going into the blue tent. Never want to see the old blue tent getting put up. Second down and 12 now. So more money for the Patriots. Yeah, right. More cash. More cash. Well, Woody thinks he doesn't need it, but then he plays games with the cash budget. All right, so Sam Darnold now in the shotgun, looks to his left, and here comes a pass rush, and then they got him. So good job by the pass rush. That's Baron Browning. They got him from the Denver Broncos, and Calais Campbell in there, the ageless wonder. So now it'll be third and about maybe 20. Jeez. Browning and Campbell coming on the left side. Let's see what happened here. Browning just got around the tight end, and Campbell came in simultaneously from the middle. So they got pass rush from both sides. I think Campbell Campbell beat Laken Tomlinson. No, is that Laken? No, it's not Laken. Used to be Laken. He beat somebody. I don't know who their guard is. Right now it's 3rd and 19, so they just hand it off to K9. to get some yards, and he gets a few yards. Now they'll have to Pontedero. So good job by the Cardinals defense on that one. Baron Browning just went right around the dude. Tackle couldn't get out there. Tight end had no shot. So now what I've said a lot, nobody seems to listen to me, is that Woody, not only should he sell maybe 5% of the team or whatever percent, but there's one of these groups, one of these private equity groups that includes Curtis Martin. Why wouldn't you do that? It's such good PR. Get Curtis Martin into the ownership group, Woody. The fans would love it. It's great PR. Everybody loves Curtis Martin, of course, every Jet fan. Great dude. Why wouldn't he do this? Even if he wants to, because Curtis Martin should be sitting there next to Woody in the damn owner's box every game, telling him, good information instead of whatever information he gets from whoever. You know what I mean? So Woody probably thinks, I got enough money. What do I need liquidity for? I got enough cash. Yeah, but what about the PR you would get? The nice PR. I mean, I think there's something to marketing, marketing your team that involves PR, and you just sell 5%, and then you just have Curtis. It also looks better to have Curtis Martin in the box every time they show you with your stupid family sitting there. Why not have Curtis and his family? You know, looks nicer. Everybody loves Curtis Martin. He doesn't understand PR and marketing, I don't think. And all for what? 5%? Who cares? And then you'll have more liquidity to spend on signing bonuses, staff additions, whatever you want. Craziness. I mean, you'd think this guy, you'd think he'd look around and say, wow, everybody else in the AFC East is doing this. Maybe I'm missing something. He knows about it, JoJo. I mean, he's not an idiot business wise. I mean, this is what he does. He's a hedge fund manager. Yeah, people just like Christopher more. So that's not a small thing because Christopher, of course, is wealthy too. So to make people like you when you're a wealthy person, it's not a small thing. Because naturally people can be jealous of wealthy people. So I think, he'd probably be better, Adam Gase hire set aside, and you could kind of understand the Adam Gase hire. We were trying to hire an offensive guy, and how many offensive guys do we have access to? Here was a guy who wanted to work here, offensive minded, had experience as a head coach with the Dolphins, endorsed by Peyton Manning. You could at least understand the thought process. But obviously that was a disaster. But that aside, you know, maybe he's learned over the years, and then if you combine that with more of a personal touch, maybe we could get somewhere. But like I said, you're not getting Woody out of the way unless the Grim Reaper comes for him. So, all right, let's see what Tiny Kyler can do now. He's down 7-3, and he hands the ball off to Trey Benson, working on the left side, and makes about 7-8 yards on first down. That's always a good 8 yards. Yeah, that's a nice gainer on first down. So it'll be second down and short. So far, Kyler's thrown a pick. He's thrown another terrible pass, and thrown some short passes. Maserati Marv has sort of disappeared so far. They got him involved early, but hasn't been able to. There's another one where there seems to be a miscommunication with the Maserati man. Kyler was thinking he was going to stop, and he kept going. So who's at fault? We don't know, but usually the quarterback's right. But then again, Kyler Murray, as he has often said, he doesn't like to watch tape. He'd rather play video games. And it was definitely one or the other got it wrong. You could almost call intentional grounding on that. Oh, I guess there was nobody in his face, so you can't. All right, now it's third down and 2. Let's see if they can figure out how to get on the same page passing wise. Kyler looks to his left, got a wide open man, hits him, and it's Wilson, whoever that is, Michael Wilson or something. All right, so they were able to hit a pass to somebody other than Marvin Harrison Jr. So Kyler back to pass now, looks underneath, throws it to Benson, who fights with, I think, Witherspoon, who holds him up. And yeah, Witherspoon. Again, that would be characterized as a routine check down there for Kyler. Not exactly a great throw, same as the third down throw. I've yet to see one impressive throw by Kyler. At least Sammy D's got two solid ones on the books. Kyler back to pass, second down and 7, tries to get it over the line, can't do it, knocked down. So the tiny man will now try on third down and 3. 10:37 remaining in the second quarter. 7-3 Seahawks. Tony Alexio, we need to know what kind of packages you're cooking up next. We need different packages, man. We need the Brandon Smith package. We need, like, we need the Lawrence Toafili package. Where's the packages, Alexio? Uh, Kyler almost sacked, throws it underneath to Benson, who gets the first down. Again, not a great throw, but Benson bails him out. I mean, not Benson, McBride. And that's what you need sometimes from your tight end. Just be the underneath man and break 2 tackles and get a first down, motherfucker. Joby, broken tackle. Other guy, well, he tackled him, but too late, first down. Uh, Leo Williams. Yeah, oh, yeah, he's good. Now there's a nice throw. All right, there's a solid throw from Kyler to McBride. Now you see McBride, I think he gets too excited on routine plays. I mean, let's calm down a little. A lot of these guys, they like to celebrate, hey, I got a first down. Okay, you're supposed to do that. Let's keep the celebrations for touchdowns and turnovers only. That's what I would say. See Jacoby Brissett on the sideline. I would give that a solid throw by Kyler. So that was good. Good one. Good one. Good one, Kyler. All right. Now he's looking. Now he throws it deep, and that is no good. Oy. There's way too many times when Kyler is falling backwards and trying to throw the ball. That is not going to work unless your name is Patrick Mahomes. And even then, it only works 75% of the time. But it's certainly not going to work for Kyler. He doesn't have the leverage. He doesn't have the base. Well, actually, he does have the baseball background, if you think about it. I often wonder if Kyler would ever think about going back to baseball, even in his 30s. He could probably play in the major leagues. Take a lot less of a drubbing, a lot less of a beating. All right, here's a little screen pass to the running back. Again, that's a routine pass that you should make every single time, unless your name is Zachary Capono Wilson. And so Benson got it. So third down now, money down. Let's see what they do. Can they go to their Maserati man? They call him Maserati Marv. You should be able to go to him on third down when you need it. Instead, he usually goes to McBride, the tight end. So re-sign the Martinez package. Now, come on, Alexio. You need new material, buddy. Forget the A-Mart package. He gone. The Brady Cook package. How about that? The Brady package. The Brady bunch. All right, Kyler now in the shotgun, looks over the middle, looks to the left, and there he is. Oh, Jesus Christ. What is going on with Marvin Harrison? Can somebody just go down, Seahawk man? What is going on with this man? Holy smokes. What is happening? What is happening to this man? Finally gets a catch and he can't hold on to it. Jugalaya. Holy. Kyler's got to be like, get this man off my team. Now he's pretending to be injured as an excuse. What is going on with this man? Holy cow. Imagine if that guy was on the Jets. We'd crucify him at the stake. Amart has a poise, a way about him. Yeah. He also not good, but These live streams are thirsty work, man. Man. Man, oh man. But what is going on with this guy? What are they gonna do? I mean, you guys saw the highlight or the low light where he was wide open, had a touchdown. Ball was underthrown a little bit, but there's nobody around him, and he misses it in one of the previous weeks. Drops it. I mean, what is going on? This is supposed to be a superstar, and he can't even do basic things. I don't know, man. What are they going to do with him? Are they going to try to trade him? Remember, he came in and he didn't want to sign the marketing deal for his jerseys. Remember that? Maybe you should have signed the marketing deal, Marv. Maybe that messed with your mind. Maybe he's having mental issues. Maybe he needs to see a sports psychologist. Something's going on, but we don't know what it is. And so, uh, boy, very, very strange. Yeah, supposed to be the next. I mean, and you look at him. I mean, he's got everything you want: smooth, big, fast, good target. Supposed to have good hands. Comes out of Ohio State, which is the correct university for wide receivers. You know, if you think about it, think about all the great wide receivers that have come out of Ohio State. It's amazing. I don't know, something going on with this Marvin Harrison guy. He can't get on the same page with the quarterback. Then when he hits him, he drops it. I mean, very strange. So we're going to find out something about Marvin Harrison. I think this guy carrying the ball loosely. If this keeps up, he will be one of the bigger busts ever. But then again, I'll bring up Quentin Johnston again. He had the same problems, and now he's just fine. It's so weird. All right, Sam Darnold now throwing a deep pass. If he hits this, this will be an elite pass, but it's incomplete. But even if it's incomplete, it could be an elite pass. I got to see the replay here because just because the receiver drops it doesn't mean it's not a great pass. Let's see this pass. If it's in his hands, this is an elite pass. Let's see. Yeah, I'm giving him an elite one there. It's rare. I don't think I've scored an elite one in a while. That's an elite pass. And that is also the value of this system. Like that was, you couldn't throw a pass better than that. Like Darnold gets credit for that because the guy dropped it. That's a solid throw right there. So Darnold's starting to cook now, I would say. Was that solid or great? I'm going to give him solid. You could say this is great because of the depth. How far downfield is it? Let's look. 5, 10, 15, and it's behind. No, that actually was not good. I'm going to get so see that's a bad pass. I'm giving him bad, even though it was complete. So you see two different things in my system, right? First one was incomplete. He gets an elite grade. That was behind the receiver, and therefore, even though it was completed, he gets a bad pass because you can't throw the ball behind people. It's training for hours. No, that's the last thing we need. Some head case on our team. I think this Brownlee guy is exactly the kind of guy we need. He seems like a roughneck. That's what we need on this team. A couple of roughnecks. You know what I'm saying? A couple of bad mofos. Now they give it to Kenneth Walker, K9, 2nd and 6, and now it'll be 3rd and about 2 or 3. K9 having a nice game so far. And Seahawks have been moving the ball primarily with the run. Now a flag comes in. It's getting a little chippy. Getting a little chippy. Getting a little chippy. Why are they? And the other, they're saying it's on the Seahawks. Maybe they thought unsportsmanlike, haunting. Too much taunting, K9. You're taunting them. No taunting allowed in the NFL. You can't taunt. We can't have any taunts. God forbid you taunt somebody. That's unfair. That's a penalty. Taunting. Too much taunting. You're taunting too much. Guy's trying to rip his leg off, but he can't taunt him. How about the guy ripping his leg off when he's already down? Are we showing that or no? No, he threw the ball at him. You threw the ball at him. That's a penalty. Sorry. So he tries to rip your leg off. You can't retaliate, son. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. We're the no taunting league. All right, 3rd down and 18 now for Sammy Darnold in the shotgun. Looks to his left, throws a screen. That's a routine pass, and that is snuffed out by Calais Campbell. So that's a routine one. 4 routine passes so far. Emoji special. Yeah, we are not trading for Maserati Marv. No way. We need people with their head screwed on straight. It's going to be an interesting trade deadline for Mooj. I wonder what he's going to do. I mean, can we move an Alan Lazard? Can't we? What can we get for Breece Hall, for example, if we're not going to compete this year and we're not going to have Hall on the team in the future? Might as well get what you can for him. Cage-free Clemens. Yeah, the old paper tiger, Michael Clemens. He's basically like a paper tiger. That's basically what he is. So put in the chat if you like the Cardinals rivalry uniform. If you like it, say yes. If you don't like it, say no. Do you like the rivalry uniform the Cardinals are wearing tonight? To me, I don't like it. Looks like we need to put it in the washing machine. It's got too much dirt on it. Got to put it in the washing machine. If you're going to design something that looks like it needs a good washing, I don't know why we're designing that. So for me, it's a no. Put in the chat whether you like these uniforms or not. In the meantime, I'll bring up the Frankie passing grades. Darnold is a 1.1, so he's still at a C. 1 elite throw, 2 solid, 4 routine, 2 bad. And that gives him a grade of 1.111. And that equates to a C, which means I can win with you. You do not want to be lower than a C on the Frankie passing grade chart. Because anything below a C means I can't win with you. And if I can't win with you, I don't want you here. What are you doing here? We're here to win. So we don't get it. We don't get into the D's and D minus and D plus. It goes straight from C to F minus. Bialy says, yeah, it's blah. Blah. Well, blah is not good, Bialy. They're not going for blah. They're going for outstanding. And instead, they got blah. Nobody wants to design something that's blah, do they? No. So that would be a negative. Cardinal Dode says downward thumbs. Yeah, I mean, I like ours. I don't like the Dolphins. I don't like the Cardinals. I don't like the Patriots at all. Patriots looks stupid as hell. There was one that I did like other than ours. All right, now here's Tiny Kyler. Let's see if he can figure out how Marvin Harrison can catch a pass. No, he throws it to Dortch out of the backfield, and he goes for 3 or 4 yards on 1st down. Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. just doesn't like football that much. It's kind of like, all right, fine. I'm Marvin Harrison Jr. I'll take the millions, but I don't have to like it. So Admo says no. So we got all no's on these uniforms. There's a pass to McBride. He gets knocked down. So another short pass. 3rd down. So far, not very high quarterback play from Kyler. See, if it were me, I would not want Kyler Murray on my team for a starting quarterback. I just don't see enough high-level play from him. Maybe he'll surprise me. Maybe my mind will change. But the games I watch with Kyler, there's just not enough high quality play from him to make me think he should be a starter in the NFL. Yes, he's fast. He runs around okay. But there's just not enough elite or great throws from him. Now they hand it off to Benson. They do not get the first down, and they're not far enough in the field to. That was Michael Carter. That was a Jet special. So Michael Carter got reminded of his Jet days there and didn't make the first down. You got to punt it now, Gannon. Don't you? I would think. Yep, Kyler comes off the field. So it looks like they might wind up with 3 points, 3 whole points in the whole half. See what Seattle does here. They are at home. So this has to be a disappointing half for the home faithful. Punt returner only takes it out to about the 10. Blow the whistle already. Buffalo, yeah, that's the one I like, JoJo. You got it. Iced out. Yeah, that looks really good. The Jets and the Bills look the best to me. That's right. I like the steel plates. I like the color. I like everything. I like the hatching. I call it hatching. I'm a fan of hatching. Those hatchings. Uh, I like everything about it. I like the colors. We should be dark colors. We're the Jets. We're from the gutter. We should be like we should change the name of the team to Gotham City Football Club, first of all. And we should change the uniforms to those uniforms, Gotham City football uniforms, and just change everything. Change the colors. If you want to change the team, you got to change the name, the colors, the uniforms, everything. All right, here's Darnold back to pass, and he's looking, can't find anybody. Rolls out to the right, looks, throws, and well, is that great or elite? That's a nice play by Darnold right there. It's either great or elite. Be nice to have a replay of all these throws. Sometimes you can't tell. You know it's not routine or solid, but is this great or elite? He's on the run, so that's high difficulty, and it's far down the field. Let's see where the ball is. I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I don't know. He's on the run. I'm gonna say that's elite. I'm gonna give that an elite one. That's 2 elite throws from Sammy. Fake the handoff now. Is Darnold gonna run? If you give him the turf, he will take it. I would say Darnold's playing pretty well, yeah. Playing pretty smart and controlled, I would say. He's got 2 elite throws on the docket. That's usually I see 0 elite throws from these QBs. He's already got 2. That was a nice scramble. Picked up a lot of yardage there. Smart play. Now they throw it out to Charbonnet. He's got a lot of room to run. That's 10, that's 15, 6, 17 yards. Boy, this Cardinal defense is looking pretty bad. On the other hand, the Seahawks only have 7 points. So they've been picking up a lot of yards, but have not been able to capitalize that much. Now we're down to the 2-minute warning. Gannon's got to be Jonathan Gannon has to be on the hot seat this year, right? If they struggle, especially on defense. They're giving up a lot of yards to this Seahawk team here. Diamond plate look. I don't know what this means, Bialy. Jets definitely need to add a stealth color. I think they just need to change the color. What does green have to do with Jets? There's nothing to do with it. Stupid. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, JoJo. First of all, we're out of step with the universe. If you're going to call your team the Jets, right? That's the name of the team. Then your colors and your uniform has to reflect what people would think about when they think about Jets. So that would be like gunmetal gray or black, you know, or some combination thereof. Not green. That's stupid. When you mess with the universe will mess with you back. You have to have an alignment between your team name, the uniform, and the colors. Has to be aligned properly. For example, the New England Patriots. What colors do you think the New England Patriots uniform should be? Well, since this is America and American colors are red, white, and blue, you would think that the Patriots' colors should be red, white, and blue. And what are their colors? Red, white, and blue. And how many championships do they have? 6. So there you go. But nonetheless, yeah, we should be open to changing everything. This is a cursed franchise. We should be open to changing everything, including the name of the damn team, because we're not moving out of that stadium. We have a 100-year lease. We're never moving out of that stadium, folks. Never, ever. There's a 100-year lease. And so that's not happening. The Johnsons are never selling the team. Never, ever. It's way too valuable. Why would they ever sell it? They have young children to come after Christopher leaves us. Brick and whoever, Brick and his brother Sticks. What if his brother was named Sticks? Okay, Brick and Sticks are taking over. Oh, God. And so they're not selling the team. We're not moving out of that location ever. So how can we break the stigma? How can we break the curse of this team? Well, maybe change the name or change the colors or permanently change the uniforms. We should never be wearing green uniforms ever again. I mean, our colors are the same colors as the field. That's not good. All right, here's Darnold in the shotgun now. He hands it off to Charbonnet. Goes nice with a piece of steak and gets 3 yards. Fast first half, yeah. Sure was. Darnold 8 out of 10, 123 yards and a TD. And 2 elite. Now, this is actually not true, JoJo. This is a myth. Because Leon Hess was not the original owner. The original owner just liked St. Patrick's Day. So that's why it was. Which is just even more random. Even if it was for Leon Hess's gas stations, that's also stupid. Oh, now what am I going to give on this throw? Jeez. Is this a good throw or a bad throw? I got to see a replay. There's a flag. It was not caught. I don't know if this was a good throw or a bad throw. They're calling interference. Can I see a replay? Please. I got to know. Is this his third elite throw? Let's see. Ball's right there. Eh. Is that an elite throw? Chat. I mean, he's on. This is another elite throw from Sammy, rolling to his left, falling backwards, and he puts it right on the money. That's an elite throw. Sorry. Good is not a category, JoJo. Elite, great, solid, routine. It's certainly not solid or routine. It's got to be either great or elite. I gave him elite. That's 3 elite throws in this game. It's the most I've seen since I've been charting these. Elite is a special throw, typically perfect deep balls. That's the definition. That was perfect. It wasn't hella deep, but great means perfect second level throws. It was beyond second level, so it's got to be elite. Catchable but imperfect deep balls. Yeah. You could argue maybe it's a great throw. Catchable but imperfect. No, it wasn't imperfect. It was a perfect deep ball. 3 elite throws so far. Grades are going up. Grades going up. This grading system may be a little too harsh because this is going to be the first game where I'm seeing a lot of elite passes. And if his grade doesn't go up sufficiently, I might have to recalibrate the grade, how the numbers translate into grades. That's a bad throw. Because right now all these guys are 1.417, and he's got 3 elite throws, 2 solid, 4 routine, 3 bads. Well, those bads are weighing him down, but so I might have to reconfigure. That's just a bad throw. I might have to reconfigure the scoring here because Darnold should be higher here. When you have 3 elite throws out of 12. All right, now they hand it off to Charbonnet. Fighting, and he gets in there. So the Seahawks playing well. It's going to be 14-3 going into the half. But the Cardinals, as bad as they've played, certainly not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Be nice if Maserati Marv could figure out how to catch a pass instead of worrying about licensing deals for his jersey. In other words, so I might have to give elite throws an additional multiplier. Maybe an elite throw is worth 5 points. Let's see. If I made elite throws worth 5 points each, let's see what this goes to. Let's see. Then he goes to 1.667. But maybe great throws should be 4 points. He doesn't have any of those, so that won't change the score. Solid throws should probably remain at 2. So it bumps him up a little. But he does have 3 bad throws. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think this multiplier, I'm going to have to think about these multipliers. Jojo says elite. Yep. Darnold on his game. Yep. Yeah, that's right. Well, if you remember, Have Mo is mostly their running game, and then he hit the one pass he needed to hit. Remember that on 4th down, he hit that. That was a nice pass, but it wasn't elite. But he did all the routine stuff, and then they had a running game, and they scored a lot of points. And that's why you can get by with a Goff. And if you have a quarterback, though, who can hit his elite throws and hit all of the routine stuff, well, then you've got something, right? But you can win with Goff. That's the whole point of Jared Goff. No one thinks Jared Goff is elite, have Mo, right? No one thinks that. But what he is just solid. He runs the offense. He usually limits mistakes, and he hits the stuff he's supposed to hit. That's fine. You can make a living in the NFL that way. Remember, C grade and up, I can win with you. That's the whole point. But I'm thinking maybe the scoring's a little too harsh, so I'm going to have to rethink. Well, they've upgraded it some. At some point, they're going to have to do major upgrades. But yeah, in 10 or 15 years, it's going to be falling down even more. But even if they knock it down, they're going to just rebuild on the same site. So we could get an improved stadium, say, if they figure out how to build it, but it'll be at the same site. It's not going anywhere. And they might have to play somewhere else for a year or something like that. But yeah, 10, 15 years is going to be toward the end of its useful life, although some stadiums last longer. This one could be 20, 25 more years. It was built in 2010. So stadiums usually last about 25, 30 years. So that's 2040, you know, and that's just on average. This one might last longer. It could be 2050. Could be 25 years before they make a major renovation on that thing. So with 54 seconds, let's see if Tiny Kyler wants to try and do something. Yeah, it does look like he wants to try to do something. He's spreading out 5 wides here. Nobody in the backfield with him. Goes back to pass, looks over the middle, fires, almost picked off again. So you see the difference, right? That would be an interceptable pass, which is the worst kind, even if it doesn't get intercepted. Now, I'm not keeping track of Kyler. Maybe I should have, but you would have had a good contrast in this first half. Kyler's grade would be very bad. I mean, he just threw it right to the guy. What are you doing? And he already had one interceptable, so that would be at least 2 interceptable passes at least. The other interception wasn't his fault. Marv just gave it to the other team. Another bad pass to Marv. They should just get rid of Marv. What are they doing with this guy? He doesn't know how to play wide receiver. I mean, let alone be an awesome one. Seattle defense, yeah, Seattle defense is really good, but still these throws are terrible. That's another thing that's worthwhile with this charting stuff. Like Kyler's just been terrible tonight. Now, Seattle does have a good defense, but they're not doing anything especially great. I mean, the one that Marv coughed up, that counts as a turnover, but they were just standing there and Marv decided to, I mean, they were hitting him and all, but that was a nice move by Dortch, but then he got hit. 38 seconds, so they got another first down. Clock is going to run, but they do have timeout, so they're calling it timeout. But you can see that Kyler can't hit anything downfield. It's all screens and, little 7-yard slants, all the simple stuff. That's the only thing he can hit. And when Cliff Kingsbury's there, Cliff Kingsbury's the king of the simple stuff. Cliff Kingsbury is like simple stuff, quarterback stuff. I mean, he's like, I don't want to know what you want to call him, kindergarten Kingsbury. I mean, he makes quarterbacks who are limited but can run look really good, like Kyler, Jaden Daniels. So now that you have Drew Petzig, maybe not as much. There's Leonard Williams, big cat. There he goes. So Kyler taking sacks, throwing picks. This is not going good. Now they're trying to rush. I mean, just call timeout if you're going to rush. The clock is ticking. 20 seconds. I mean, I guess it's worth a shot. Now he's trying to run. I mean, why are you running? That's not going to do anything. Run 5 yards. I guess they could try one more play. I'm just going to let the clock run out. You got a timeout. You're not going to call the timeout. What are we doing here? What is we doing, Gannon? Seems like they didn't know whether they want to go for it or fans are upset. The Red Sea is upset. Redbirds, whatever they call their fans, the Red Sea, I think. I think Gannon's on the hot seat. I don't know about you guys. You think is Gannon on the hot seat or not? For me, Gannon's in the hot seat. They are 2-1 on the season, though, so it's not like they're 0-3 like us. 49ers got some close, lucky wins. All right, now Seattle wants to call a timeout. Old McDonald wants to talk to him. Very, very different QBs, right? So I would say based on the games I've seen and charted and looked at with Kyler, I'm not a big Kyler Murray fan. How the hell he put up 35 against us, I'll never know. Just goes to show how bad we were in that game. What did he put up against us? 35, 45, 55, 105? Put up a ton of points against us somehow. We made him look like mighty Kyler instead of tiny Kyler. There's Marvin Harrison. He doesn't look too into it. Looks like maybe he'd rather be somewhere else doing something else. Maybe he's just not into football that much. So they waited for till 2 seconds, and then they're going to throw a screen pass. And then what are they doing? First of all, they let too much time run off the clock when Kyler decided to run for 4 yards for some reason in the middle of the field. And then they throw a screen pass with 2 seconds. That was pretty dumb. Well, 14-3 at the half. Darnold slinging it. Kyler, not so much. Let's see if that continues in the second half of this ball game. Jonathan Gannon's defense doesn't look great, to be honest with you. But Seattle, on the other hand, is looking like a pretty good contender, I would say. If they get this level of quarterback play from Sam Darnold, the defense is pretty stout. They got the running game. And then if Darnold can manage the ball games like this, well, maybe they're cooking. Maybe they're cooking. Yeah, it's really true. It's really true. It's a combo of the quarterback and the OC and the plays and getting the offensive line good enough and all. But yeah, there's so much on the quarterback. That's why they make that money. It's why they make the money that they make. Well, now we got halftime, so we'll take a little break, play a little music, maybe. Uh, maybe media assets. Maybe for the halftime, we'll change it into K Frank. And take a little listen to a little tunage.
Frankie from Flatbush rides the Brooklyn line. Got a swagger sharp like a vintage wine. Everybody knows his name from porch to his stoop. Hustling dreams in every loop. In the park he struts, hits the handball wall. Echoes hear the stories when the shadows fall. Got 1,000 tales and a confident grin. On the streets of Flatbush where legends begin. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow. Lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near. He's got the rhythm, everybody cheers. Corner talks and sidewalk chalks his fame. In the Flatbush breeze you'll hear his name. Underneath the subway on the magic's real. Frankie's moves got that electric feel. From Atlantic Avenue to the urban hill. Flatbush Frankie's giving you a thrill. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow. Lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near. Lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow. Lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go. Frankie from Flatbush rides the Brooklyn line. Got a swagger sharp like a vintage wine. Everybody knows his name from porch to his stoop. Hustling dreams in every loop. In the park he struts, hits the handball wall.
Sometimes you got to get a little snack. Admo says, I had to listen to the Cardinal game. Yeah, well, it was brutal. It was brutal to watch.
One, two, three, four. It's a crime that desire had to corrupt you. I am armed with an armload of stories. Some are weighted with shame, some tell of glory. When you rise from this madness and see how guilty your past is, you'll be so gone by then that only God will be your friend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I rise from depression, I'll be against you. Your manufactured oppression, I guess it freed you. Well, when you rise from this madness and see how guilty your past is, you'll be so gone by then that only God will hold your hand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your past is, I'll watch you burn in the fire. I'll be your bird on the wire. Well, I'm ensconced with desire, but I can't handle the liar. Oh, when you rise from the madness and see how guilty your past is, so gone by then that only God will be your friend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a clear sight, abandoned, handed down to me. A history, it's been given, long but shortened in my hand. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around, hold me up, soak me in, and let them read my side. My shine, it hangs together, it announces my every move, transforming these gatherings, clenched in my fingers, it begins. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around, my hold me up, soak me in, let them read my shame. Now it calls attention to my heart and to my chest. My drive is so insatiable, it drags me down. My charm hangs from a prison chain. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around, my hold me up, soak me in, and let them read my shine. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around, my hold me up, soak me in, and let them read my sign. Read my sign. It was so long ago, I carried that book of poems, but I had no sign. No, I had no rhyme. It was so long ago, I carried that book of poems, but I'd done my time. No, I had no shine.
Well, we're back to football. And so we'll go from K Frank to FSPN once again. Yeah, you got to be versatile on these live streams these days. And so here we go. We got to kick off. Seahawks will receive the ball. They're up 14-3 on the road, and they get it out to the 34-yard line. Sam Darnold has been on point in this game. Kyler Murray, not so much. Maserati Marv still continues to be in a daze, it looks like, while he's out on the field. And that's no bueno. That's somebody that's supposed to be a superstar, and he's playing like he's playing like he's Alan Lazard or something. Well, it kind of looks like he's disinterested, maybe doesn't like football anymore. People, change their minds about their careers at times. All right, now you have Sam Darnold under center. Fakes the handoff, a little play action. Looking. He gets lacka, but and a fumble. But the Seahawks fall on it. So one thing the Cardinal defense is doing, they are getting some pressure on Darnold. Whether it be Baron Browning or Josh Sweat. I think that's Josh Sweat. That's Josh Sweat. There's a couple of Sweats in the league. Calais Campbell, you name it, they're getting in there a bit. That's one thing that's concerning for the Hawks. Does anybody call them the Hawks? I don't know. Now Darnold in the shotgun, 2nd and 11, so they only lost 1 yard on the sack. Strip sack fumble. They get the ball over to Smith-Njigba, and he gains 9 yards to 9 or 10 yards, so they'll be 3rd down and 1. Nice little reverse to their receiver, Smith-Njigba, also from Ohio State. You got Maserati Marv, Ohio State, Smith-Njigba, Ohio State, Garrett Wilson, Ohio State, Chris Olave. I mean, where does it end? Scary Terry. Jeez. Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate. It's an endless list. All right, 3rd down and 1. Darnold puts a man in motion. Hits Smith-Njigba. He's got twins tight end on the left, rolling left. If you give him the too much grass, he's going to take it. He starts to run, but then finds a tight end. Nicely done. That's a routine throw on my little grid. Routine throw. Made it. Got it. Good job. Convert the 3rd down. No problem. Now he hands the ball off to K9, loses footing, and is going to gain about 2 yards after a lot of running. If you run that much, you want more than 2 yards out of it, I would say. Now it's 2nd down, but they're moving the ball pretty well as they come out. Maybe the Seahawks can emerge as another team to be a contender to knock off the Eagles in the NFC. That would be interesting. Darnold over to a tight end. Another routine throw, but he makes it. Nice job. Darnold getting the play now, 3rd and short. They have a receiver named Bobo on this team. Let's not forget that. You always want more Bobo. They got a weird condensed formation here. They do hand it off, and Charbonnet able to cut through the defense for the 1st down. So nice job by the blockers. Great blocking. And you love to see a nice block. That's for sure. Love to see a nice block happening. Play action pass. Here comes the pressure. He escapes now. He doesn't. Sakalaka. So they're able to get some sacks on him. That's the one thing they have been able to do. 56 Robinson, whoever that is. Should be 3rd down now, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Player down for the Cardinals. Probably got to go to commercial here. Jeez, the Cardinals really took Josh Rosen 10th overall. Jesus. One thing I'm glad doing this live stream, at least I don't have to listen to Kirk Herbstreit. That's one benefit. One of the worst announcers on television. All right. No, it's only 2nd down, 2nd and 15. They do a pitch out to Walker, gains about 5 yards. It'll be about 3rd and 10. I think Gannon's going to send an all-out blitz here. He needs a spark. Needs a spark. 3rd and 11. I think he's going to send an all-out blitz to try to get Darnold to do something stupid. I'm wrong. Sends 4. Darnold stands in the pocket, hits a man, and that should be, I believe, short. That's a routine throw to Charbonnet. But now it's going to be 4th down. And they're bringing in the field goal team. That's the right call. You're up 14-3 on the road. You got a field goal. You got an excellent field goal kicker in Jason Myers, former Jet, of course. We just can't hold on to kickers. We had Nick Folk, let him go. We had Jason Myers, let him go. We had Eddie Dinero Pinheiro, let him go. And that's good. Jason Myers, ultra reliable. 17-3 Seahawks. So Sammy D, doing a great job. Kyler Murray, less so. They're not running any commercials on my thing. So they just have a black screen here. If I was actually watching this without doing the live stream, I'd probably watch the En Espanol one. It'd be much better than listening to Kirk Dumbstreet. Okay, yeah, my so let's see what the hell's going on here. Refresh it. Main broadcast. Yeah, there it goes. Not that I want to see commercials, but it's weird to just see a blank screen. JoJo says Jets can't even scout the kickers right. Yeah, it's so dumb. You get a reliable kicker, just keep him. I'm going to cheap out on the kicker. I mean, kickers are valuable. If you get a reliable one, like Jason Myers, just hold on to him. What's the problem? So let's just hope AG and Muji can really grow into their roles and become the people we need them to be. It's really our only hope. We're gonna have a lot of evaluations to do, including Justin Fields. It looks like Justin Fields is coming back on Monday. He was a full participant in practice today. If he doesn't have any symptoms after the practice with the concussion, then he'll be a full go tomorrow. And knock on wood, nothing else happens, and then he'll be in the game on Monday night. So we got to evaluate him. We got a lot of evaluations to do. Going into next year. Is Justin the guy or not? That would be evaluation number 1. But we got a lot of evaluations to do. Who's going to be on this roster next year and who's going to be out of here one way or another? Let me know in the chat if you're looking forward to seeing Justin Fields on Monday night so we can continue evaluating him, or if you wanted to see Tyrod Taylor for some reason. All right, so let's see if Tiny Kyler can do something better this half than how he looked in the first half, which was total garbaggio. Let's see if Maserati Marv can, look interested in playing football. But I will say, in Marvin Harrison's defense, there's also Quentin Johnston. who kind of had the same problems, looked totally lost out there for a couple of years, and then figured it out this year. So that is such a weird thing. All right, here's Murray trying to make an elite pass, and you see, they called pass interference, but I would say this is a bad pass. The receiver had no chance to catch it, even though they're going to call DPI on the cornerback. These cornerbacks get too handsy. Havmo says JF7 for me. Yeah, this is the correct response. There's no real reason to see what Tyrod is. Yeah, that's definitely a DPI. But really didn't affect, well, I guess it affected him a little bit. But if I was charting Kyler, I would put that as bad. Here's a handoff to Benson. Goes for a couple of yards. I mean, he throws too many. Well, he doesn't. He just doesn't have the accuracy. I mean, that's what we're seeing, generally speaking. And if something's not there, he just tries to run. And it's great if you can scramble out of it, but sometimes you can't. Flag down. Got to be a flag. He's just limited. Like Kyler is limited. Holding Paris Johnson, also of Ohio State. The Ohio State boys aren't doing too good tonight. Held Newuso. That's not really holding. Where's the, that's, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, for long passes. But if you're just going to throw YOLO balls, that's not a quarterback you want. Like YOLO, like that's Zach Wilson, There's a routine. He can make these routine passes, okay. But that's what Zach did. He would throw these long passes just like YOLO, just chuck it up. That's not what you're looking for. This is the NFL, people. We need high-level quarterback play here. You can try that stuff in the Canadian Football League. Senor. But what you see is that those, the ability to put it on a dot deep, that's what separates. That's what separates in this league. Every quarterback, even though some can't, every quarterback should be able to make the routine throws every single time. Here's an all-out blitz. Blitzing Kyler, going backwards. That's not what you want. And you see also the going backwards. Now you say it's Kyler. He can scramble, but I mean, that's just that is low-level quarterback play. That's what that is. Low-level quarterback play. Boy, they're showing the crowd. Nobody looks too excited or happy. They all look pretty upset. Down 17-3. Cardinal offense looks terrible. The defense looks okay at times, but generally being gouged. Not going the way the home faithful maybe wanted. Maserati Marv looks like he has no interest in being there whatsoever. Looks like he's wants to be anywhere else. Maybe Marvin Harrison only wants to play for Ohio State quarterbacks. What if he's like, look, I only play for Ohio State quarterbacks, man. I don't want to play with these other people. Give me Justin Fields. Give me there's no other Ohio State quarterbacks in the league. Give me Will Howard. That'd be an interesting offseason trade. If the Steelers said Will Howard is our new quarterback, and Marvin Harrison said, I only want to play with Ohio State quarterbacks. and then they traded him to the Steelers. Steelers need a wide receiver. Maybe we could interest them in Mr. Lazard. We don't need him. Yeah, here we are. Looking like the Seahawks are the better team, let's be honest. I mean, in this game anyway, it's looking like the Seahawks are a real contender with a really good defense and all kinds of weapons, and Darnold slinging it on offense and putting it where it needs to be. Only one fumble. You think about it, fumbles are like his kryptonite. That's one of his Achilles heels, the old fumbleias. Clint Kubiak, 5 teams in 5 seasons. Sam Darnold, third quarterback to start a game for 5 teams before turning 30. Yeah, it wasn't just the Jets. Carolina got rid of him. The 49ers got rid of him. The Vikings got rid of him. Everybody got rid of him. We're not the only ones. Clint Kubiak, I don't know why he bounced around so much. I think he's a respected play caller, as far as I know. All right, so Darnold and the Seahawks back at it, out of the shotgun. Smith-Njigba with an orbit. They give it to him, and he gets taken down immediately. Not a good one there. Loss of 1 or 2 on the play. Nice tackle. Good job. Smith-Njigba is somebody, speaking of Ohio State, who has not got on track either. What's going on with these Ohio State people? Maserati Marv looks like he'd rather be anywhere but in the playing football. And then Smith-Njigba can't get on track either. All right. Sam Darnold, came out of USC, of course. Man in motion, right to left. Darnold looks to his right, fires, gets a routine pass over to Cooper Kupp, who looks like he's about 100 years old. Is Cooper Kupp's career over or what? That's a routine one. Koopy Kupp is looking like he's, it's a little, it's a few years past, retirement age. Let's put it that way. Time to hang him up, Koopy. Third and 10, deep in their own zone. Now, if they can get a stop here, they'll be in good shape, even with all this badness. Darnold back to pass, fires. Ooh, no bueno on that one. That might be interceptable. Very risky. What are you doing, Sammy? You're back up in your own end. You can't take a risk. Let's take a look at this. Maybe it's better than we thought or worse. Let's see. Throws it. I don't know if that was interceptable, but let's just say it was bad. Fourth bad pass. Even with my increased multiplier for elite and great throws, he still had a 1.353, which is a C, but then again, he's had 4 bad passes. So Sammy D gives, but Sammy D takes away. 3 elite passes, 4 bad. That one could have been interceptable, which is even worse. You guys think that was interceptable? Let me know in the chat if you thought that pass was interceptable or just bad. Those are the 2 negative categories of throws. Then you have batted away and throwaways. You don't get penalized for those. Let me know if you thought that was interceptable or just bad. I put it as bad. Let me know in the chat. Checking for news, checking for NFL news, see if there's any news, breaking news. Doesn't seem to be. Grant Cohn makes the comment Marvin Harrison Jr. needs to retire. Grant Cohn says 49ers insider Grant Cohn says he needs to retire. So Havmo says bad. Event Horizon, good to see you. He says bad as well. All right, so you guys agree with me. All right, not interceptable. All right, so on the day, Darnold is a 1.353. It's still a C grade, but comfortably above the 1.0 threshold for a C, which is you can win with him. He's got 3 elite throws, no great throws, 2 solid, 8 routine, 4 bads. And that's it. No interceptable, no batted, no throwaways. So that's where we are with Mr. Darnold. Grant Cohn says Marvin Harrison Jr. should retire. This is his second year in the league, I believe. All right. So that's what's going on. People think Marvin Harrison should retire. Etc. Let me know if the audio is any different. I'm getting some kind of signal from StreamYard. Let me know if there's a change in audio quality at the moment. Now it goes away. So that's one of the things in StreamYard that concerns me. In Restream, I never get any notifications that the connection's unstable. There is no unstable connection. It's the same. Not on Wi-Fi. We're wired in. And so there should really be no stability issues with this internet connection. But the weird thing is StreamYard gives me some indication that there is sometimes, occasionally. Now it's gone away, but it worries me a little bit. And Kyler throws underneath to Benson. Trey Benson, running back, gets a few yards, gets the first down. Routine throw for Kyler. Well, they got the stop they needed. They're only down 14. The game is certainly not over, even though they've been dominated up to this point. Kyler Murray, 16 out of 26, 90 yards, no TDs, 2 interceptions. That's a bad stat line. Now he throws over to Marv, who catches it. Hey, Marvin Harrison caught a pass, everybody. Let's give him a hand. Good job, Marvy. Hey, Marvy. Oop, was he in bounds? Hey, Marvy. This is a solid throw. Yeah, he's in bounds. Attaboy, Harvey. Harvey Marv. All right, Harry. Let's go, buddy. 2 catches, 24 yards for the first round pick. Now, they're in position to score, so they really need a touchdown here, and then they're right back in the game. They run a flea flicker, and it doesn't work because the pressure gets home. They blitzed them with 2 of the defensive backs getting in there. Nicely done by the Seahawks. They called a blitz at the exact right time because they were trying to run a flea flicker. So that is just unfortunate for Drew Petzig. The wrong kind of play on the wrong kind of pressure. They brought all these people, and you did a flea flicker, which takes a long time to develop. So that's just bad timing, really. But now it's 2nd down and 17. They're at the 40-yard line. They really don't want a field goal here. You need to get it into the end zone, get yourself back in the game, get the crowd back in the game, get things going. Oh, my goodness. Kyler running backwards. Now he's running forward. Now he's pointing. Now he's running out of bounds. Oh, boy. This guy. What is, I mean, he still doesn't understand you can't run backwards. This is still a backwards guy? After all these years in the league, he's still running backwards. I guess when you just rely on your legs, you can do whatever you want. But I mean, why not even just throw this out of bounds? Here, you basically it's a sack if technically until you lost some yardage. Why would you run it out of bounds? before the line of scrimmage. That's not smart. 3rd and 7. Now it's 3rd and 17. They throw a, oh my goodness. They threw a little routine pass to Dortch. He dropped it. He ate a dropsicle. Well, now what are you going to do? You're going to punt? Man, they are not looking good. That was the drive to get you back in the game. Seattle let you get back in the game, and you didn't do it. You got to take advantage of those. Got to take advantage. Can't be running backwards. These backward runners. Now they're going to try a 50 plus 57-yard field goal, all to get within 11. So this will make it a 2-score game, I guess, is a way to look at it. 57-yarder. Well, looks like he hit it. Yep. So, all right. They're down 11. Not what you wanted, but not terrible either. We would like Kyler to not run backwards, please. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he makes some splash plays at times, but there's just too much low-level quarterback play for me to give this guy. And they gave him 50 plus million. How much is he making? 50 plus million? That's not a $50 million quarterback. I'm sorry. If I was the Cardinals, I'd be looking to move on after the season. I don't, unless he turns it around and starts playing better. I'm not seeing franchise quarterback here. Really not. Darnold, well, you're seeing a quarterback you can win with. I don't know if you'd characterize that as franchise QB, but I think you can win with him. But he will make a few mistakes per game, seems like. It just depends how bad those mistakes are and when they occur. All right, so now the Seahawks will get the ball back. There's a minute 37 left in the third quarter. They take it out to about the 34-yard line. So they'll start from there. Pretty good field position. They'll probably look to keep running it, as they are up 11, and they've had good success running the ball. And plus, you don't want to have Sam Darnold ruin it with some picks. So let's keep it on the ground, keep it, conservative. You know, and one thing the Cardinals have done tonight is get pressure on Darnold in passing situations. So I think all those things combined, let's run the ball. And there they go. Kenneth Walker over the B gap and only gets 3 or 4 yards. Not terrible. On first down, the clock continues to move. As Jonathan Gannon sits there and contemplates life with Kyler Murray. Do I want to get a new quarterback? He's probably thinking, which one can I get? Who's going to be available? All right, now the Cardinals are crowding the line of scrimmage, and Darnold back to pass, and that's a bad pass. So Darnold has cooled off a bit. And now it's 3rd and 6. So again, the Cardinals really just need a stop here, as is the cliche. Big third down here. Big third down here. You get this stop. I mean, you're very much in the ball game, as badly as you've played. Darnold can make him pay by converting this. Puts a man in motion. They got 11 personnel on the field. He's in the shotgun, looks to the left, fires, got his man. It's Smith-Njigba. When you need a first down, go to Jaxson. That was a routine pass. But smart to go to his good-handed receiver. One-on-one out there. Beats his man, puts the ball on him. Nice. You might even say that's a solid throw. Yeah, let's make it solid. because of the precision of it. Here's Kenneth Walker stumbling backwards. You don't want to go backwards. What rule number one of offense is don't go backwards. Going backwards is bad. You want to be moving forward. Keep moving forward, you might say. All right, that's the end of the third quarter. What are you guys thinking of Kyler Murray tonight? You know, one thing that could happen, they might move on from him. I'm going to look up his contract. Let's see. Oh, boy. They're not moving on from him. They are contractually tied to Kyler Murray through 2027. Nobody's trading for that contract. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, his cap hit this year is $43 million. So you're paying in the cap dollars, $43 million for this level of play. Next year, the cap hit goes to $53 million. And then the following year, $43 million again. And then he can be a free agent after that, 2028. But there's a club option for 2028 when he'll be 31 years old. And he'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2029. So I don't think you're moving on from Kyler. I mean, you could do the Russell Wilson thing that Denver did, but boy, oh boy, I don't think you're doing that. If they were to move on, they say the dead cap in 2026 is 57. You could take a 57 million. I guess 2027 is really when you could move on from him. Because they say the dead cap is only 7.2 at that point. So it's 2027 or 2028 for Kyler, but they're not, I mean, they're stuck with him till next year for sure. So this level of play is not great. So what they got to really hope is that, hey, it's really just the Seattle defense is just amazing. And, Kyler's going to play better against other teams. And this is not who he is. What you hoping? All right, 2nd and 15. They really need to. Oh boy. Cooper Kupp did something. That's a routine throw. All right, now it's 3rd down again. Same thing for the Cardinals. Big 3rd down. Every one of these that they can stop them, get them off the field. 3rd down and 4. Need a nice safe throw for a 1st down from Darnold here. He's in the shotgun. He's got a 3-by-1 formation, 11 personnel. Cooper Kupp is in the slot. Looks like you got Horton on the outside along with Smith-Njigba to the right. They want to get Smith-Njigba probably one-on-one. Darnold can't find anybody. Now scramble around. There's a penalty flag. Scramble. And he cannot get the 1st down, but there is a flag. And Darnold is pointing that it's on them. So that was not great. But there is a flag on the play to probably bail him out. Holding defense. Kupp fell down, but maybe Kupp is just an old man who fell down. Do they think about that? Like the man's old. He can't run. It's hard to run when you're old. Maybe he just fell down. Boy, I would love to see it if there was one of the things they could try to do is have some sort of replay system where there's an automatic replay of all the calls, and if the ref got it wrong, they buzz down and say, "Nope, we're picking it up the flag." And if that happens a lot for a particular referee, then that guy gets fired. All right. Darnold under center now, does a play action, looks to his left, looks to over the middle. That's a dump off to Walker. That's a routine throw. He drops it. Eating too many dropsicles. 10 routine throws out of 21 for Darnold. You got to catch it, Kenny. Second down and 10. At some point, this defensive coordinator's got to run an all-out blitz on Darnold and just try to make him freak out and throw you a cookie. Barely got the play off out of the shotgun. Looks over the middle, guns it. That's a solid throw to Njigba. He really got behind that one. All right, first down and 10. 13 minutes remaining. Moving the ball steadily down the field. Here's a handoff to Walker. Moves to the right, gets 4 or 5 yards or so. Not too bad. Donald 15 out of 21, 181 yards. Looked pretty good tonight. Not putting the ball in harm's way that much, only occasionally. He's under center now. We got a fullback in the game. 21 personnel here for the Seahawks. They hand it to Walker again, goes to the right, squirts out, and is able to get big yardage, gets it all the way down to the 7-yard line. So once again, Cardinals getting gouged with this run. Not looking good for JG's boys. We got AG. They got JG. They call him Coach JG. That's no bueno. Gave up about 20 yards, 15, maybe 15 or so. Walker 73 yards on the day. Darnold under center once again, 12 personnel. They give the ball to Charbonnet, makes a cut to the right, makes another cut to the right, and into the end zone he goes. That is probably, nope, now there's a flag on the play, But either way, and it is holding against the Seahawks, so that's going to take the touchdown off the board. Smith-Njigba is arguing with the ref, and they're giving them the side eye. You better keep your mouth shut, Smith-Njigba. They said he held. Not so sure about that. More like ran into a guy. How's that holding? Yeah, I don't like that call. I don't like it. I do not like it. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. They were giving him the side eye. Giving him the side eye. Jalen Thompson is limping off the field. But either way, the Seahawks are either going to punch it in again Smith-Njigba now probably apologizing to the ref for arguing so hard. Well, maybe you shouldn't call so many penalties, Mr. Referee, with your stupid yellow flags. All right, first and goal from the 13-yard line. Yeah, they hand it off to Walker. He gets about 5 or 6 yards. Continuing to gouge the Cardinal defense. This is probably better because they get to take more time off the clock. They're probably going to punch it in anyway. And even if not, they'll kick the field goal, which makes it a field goal. Really, field goal, they're still kind of in it. Touchdown would probably end the game. Probably. Because a field goal makes it a 14-point game. Touchdown makes it a 3-score game. Be hard for them to score 3 times in 10 minutes. Could be done, though. Could be done. Flag. Another flag on the play. Got more penalties, everybody. More penalties, everybody. More penalties. Like we need all these penalties, yeah? Anybody like penalties? Put in the chat if you like penalties. Put in the chat if you enjoy some penalties, yeah? Put it in the chat there. Say, I love penalties. All right, now Darnold's in the shotgun, and he's got 11 personnel on the field, and they run out of that. Walker spin-a-rooney, but doesn't get anywhere, goes backwards. All right. Yeah, of course they love Sammy right now. They're winning. Yeah, let them lose a few, and they won't. That's how it works, buddy. When you win, they love everybody. Trust me, if we had won the game against Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay, by the way, we have 3 losses, 2 of them by 2 points each. But if we had pulled those games out, everybody would be singing a very different tune about AG and everybody on the team, you know, basically. Darnold now throws it out to Koopy Cup, and that goes nowhere. That's a routine throw. So now they're going to kick a field goal. So even with all of this, really, the Cardinals are really still in it. 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points are going to give them a tie. And if they go for 2 on one, they could win it. So even being thoroughly outplayed, still going to be in it with about 9.5 minutes remaining. Myers good as usual. Consistently accurate. Why would we want a consistently accurate kicker? I don't know. Let's get rid of him. Okay. We can use that money on other people. Like who? Le'Veon Bell. I don't know. So, that's how it works, Havmo. That's how it works. When you win, everybody's great. The head coach is amazing. The offensive coordinator is amazing. The kickers, everybody's amazing. If you lose, everybody stinks. That's how it goes. We get a few breaks. I mean, if our defensive backs could catch the ball against Rodgers, we win that game. We get a break or 2 against Tampa, we win that game. Yeah. But of course, we're the Jets. We don't get any breaks, but still. But that's how it works. When you're winning, everybody loves you. When you're losing, everybody hates you. It's a tough business. It's a tough business. It's a tough business. At least it's well, it hasn't actually been a competitive game, but the score is not out of hand. Been kind of a boring, embarrassing game from the Cardinals' perspective, mostly due to poor quarterback play and also Marvin Harrison eating too many dropsicles. But you know, the defense has been decent against the pass in terms of pass rush, but they've given up too many yards uh, on the ground. And then Darnold has made just enough plays to balance it out on the offensive side for Seattle while limiting turnovers. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Jason Myers kicking it off. There it goes. Man, they take it out to the 27-yard line. Can Kyler get it going? Let's go, Kyler. Let's go, Marv. Let's get it going now, boys. Gibson was claimed by the strange things with Gibson. Gibson was uh signed by the claimed off waivers by the Giants, and then a couple of days later waived by the Giants, and then picked up by somebody picked him up. Forget who claimed him. Somebody did. Kyler throws it underneath to Marv, who catches it. So at least Marv caught that one, 3 or 4 yards at least. Kyler Murray with a 276 win percentage against the NFC West. That's not good. Got to beat your division, as we all know. But Gibson wound up on some team. I forget who claimed him. Havmo. Murray now running. There we go. That's what you get with Murray sometimes. He can rip off those long runs. So he did there. And that's why they're not really out of it. Murray can make some magic. That's what he does. These splash plays, that's about 20, 25, 30, 35 or so yards. And now he's looking to pass, and he's going to run it for 2 yards. That's not good. Wasting time. But again, they're only down 2 touchdowns, so he doesn't even really have to hurry. Basically looking for touchdown here and then get a stop, and then, then you're playing for the game. But Gibson is on a roster. I forget who claimed him after the Giants waived him. Somebody picked him up. Somebody took a chance on him. Now they run it up the middle. I think you got to abandon the run here, fellas. At this point, 14 points down, fourth quarter, coming up on 7 minutes. It's probably time to abandon the run, fellas, except in certain situations. Kyler, 3rd down and 8, probably in 4 down territory. Oh, the Eagles. Yeah, Gangrene got it. That's who it was. Kyler over the middle, hits his tight end. There you go. Go to your guy. Gangrene Gene got it. The Eagles picked him up. Yeah, the Eagles are a place where wide receivers go to die sometimes also, but now they run it up the middle again. You got to abandon you cannot be running these run plays. What are you doing? It's taking too much time off the clock, and also pick up the pace, fellas. 6 minutes left. We're down 14. What are we doing? Let's run a little pace, a little tempo, folks. 2nd and 4. Kyler looking toward the right. That's a bad pass, but they call pass interference on Reek Woolen. Too much pass interference with these people now. We got to see the replay, though. Reek Woolen, remember everybody said he's better than Sauce Gardner. Yeah. Got your hands all over him, Reek. Remember, he used to be Tyreek. Woolen. Then he said, no, my name is Reek Woolen. R-I-Q. Never heard of anybody named R-I-Q, but maybe he's the first one ever. Reek Woolen. Reeky. All right, so now we're first and goal. Well, that really helped. Murray cannot find anyone. Sakalaka. Boy, oh boy. When you just need a guy in the pocket finding an open man, Murray struggles. If you want a guy to run around, Murray's great. Yeah, and if Zay Gibson gets a ring with the Eagles, do I care? No. It's like Kenny Pickett saying he got a ring with the Eagles. Who cares? But it probably, if he returns a kick for a touchdown or something, it'd be like, oh, great. But again, I don't really care about that. Hey, there's a nice play. I would give that a great throw. And Marv caught it. Attaboy, Marv. Hey, we knew you could do it all along, Marv. We would never question you, buddy. And I would say this is a high-level throw. We got one. This is a great throw, maybe even elite. Let's see if we would say, yeah, I'd say that's a great throw. But still, after all the slop we saw the rest of the game, you got to give it to Kyler. When he needed it, he got it. Got the extra points, and now you're just down 7. I mean, the Seahawks got to really be worried here. 5:50, plenty of time. They just need one stop. Marvin Harrison woke up, did something. So, maybe you woke the sleeping giant. And maybe he and Kyler now are going to get on the same page. Stop playing Call of Duty and let's play some football. And, maybe we got a game here. We got a game. Finally. Which just goes to show you can never take your foot off the gas in the NFL. They didn't get the touchdown. They got the field goal on the other end. Now that kept them in the game. The event says, great throw, bordering elite. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's right on that edge. I'd probably go great. Because it was a little bit like if it was more on his outer shoulder, I'd probably give him elite. But it was great. I mean, elite throws should be hard ones to make. Obviously. Yeah, they took too much time. I mean, but really, they got enough time. They do. I would have abandoned the run, but it worked out. They got plenty of time. Plenty of time, really. Question is, if they score a touchdown, would you go for 2? Let's say they stop them, they go down, they score. Now they're 1 point down. Do you play for the tie or do you go for the win? Put in the chat if you would go for 2, which would be going for the win, or you just kick the extra point and go for overtime. You got Tiny Kyler, who gets the splash plays sometimes, but also makes a lot of mistakes. Havmo says no. No to what, Havmo? Dode says tie. Tie. You guys are conservative, huh? You don't want to be aggressive? Everybody smacking the guy in the head. I always wonder about that. There's too many head smacks in football. Anyway, they kick it off. They bring it out only to the 22-yard line. So good field position in terms of the Cardinals. Now, let's see what the Seahawks do. They basically need to run their regular old offense. Don't do anything different. And try and milk the clock where possible. But basically, You don't take anything off the table. There's too much time remaining anyway, so you don't not pass it and things like that. It's about trusting the offense. I don't have it. Well, if you don't have trust in the offense, what are you going to do in overtime? Event Horizon says, great catch by Harrison. Yep. So Darnold over the middle. Oh, boy. That's a bad pass. Got a little bit of happy feet. We know he gets the happy feet. Almost got that one picked off. I probably would have started with a run, but then again, they were probably loading up for the run. Yeah, I would. He almost pushed off, but he didn't, which was good. Yeah, a lot of receivers in that situation probably would have pushed off. I agree with you, Event Horizon. All right, now Darnold in the shotgun again. Now he hands it off to K9, and he gets 3-4 yards. So once again, that phrase comes up, big third down here. Obviously, if they get a stop, they're in good position. But this is also why you need mentally resilient players, especially the quarterback. Because this whole game, it just looked like total dog crap. And then here they are, fourth quarter, they're right in the game, no problem. And if you had a quarterback who lost his confidence or anything like that, it would have gone downhill quickly. But Kyler, say what you want about him, still in the game. Here's Darnold going for an elite throw, and he hits it. Boy, oh boy, look at that. That's an elite throw. Attaboy, Sammy. 4 for him there. And when they needed it. And it's just a simple stop and go. 1, 2, yep. Go to your big-time receiver. Make an elite throw. Drop it in the bucket. Perfect. Wow. That's really the evolution of Sammy right there, I think. In the past, he wouldn't have made that throw. Scan, find your guy, and drop it in the bucket. Nice. And it's a nice rainbow. He didn't throw it on a line. He put it up in the air, so it came down nice. Easily catchable. Sometimes these quarterbacks throw it too low. Campbell staggering off. Harrison looks like a head case, yeah. Who knows what's going on with that guy? Now, 4:52, first down. I would probably start milking the clock here. Seattle has all their timeouts. So does Arizona. So no problem there. The problem for Arizona is they're close to field goal range already, which is why, again, I would run it here. Walker looking for space, finds nothing. So that's a run stop. So when do you start calling your timeouts if you're Arizona? Because a field goal, you're that's it. Right? You're not going to get 10 points in 2 minutes. I mean, you could. Smith-Njigba coming on in the second half, 3 catches, 57 yards. Really, he should be the go-to guy on this team. Who's better than him? He's their number one, right? I mean, who's better than him? Now they got a bunch of tight ends. I think this is 13 personnel, or it's actually 22 personnel. And they still couldn't move them. So milking the clock, and Arizona is going to call a timeout here. Yeah. Smart. Okay, I think that was pretty smart because third down. The issue is if they don't get any more yardage from here, what kind of a field goal is this? It's going to be a long one. And see if it's in Myers' range. Though these kickers seem to be making them from longer and longer and longer these days. And the question is, do you want to bring the pressure? Do you want to take a chance and just blitz the hell out of them? Or just cover and hope he just checks it down. And they go conservative, handed off to Charbonnet, and he only gets 2 yards. So that's good. But if they kick the field goal, the game's pretty much over. It's not totally over, but you should call timeout, Gannon. I'm not sure I agree with not calling a timeout here. Going to let the clock go down. I mean, you're losing like 40 seconds here for no reason. And you might need 10 points if he makes it. So only a 53-yarder. He's probably going to make it. Yeah, you should have called a timeout there, Gannon. Oh, he missed it. Wow. See, we should have never signed him back. I knew it. Well, there's life and there's hope in the desert. Tiny Kyler might pull it out after all. You can be terrible for a long time in a football game. And then at the end, start doing good. As we saw in the Jets game, for example, where we scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. Pretty rare. Score that many points in a quarter. Well, a 53-yarder, he pushed it wide right. Now it's just a 7-point game. So then the question comes, if you score this touchdown, or do they go for the tie or the win? They drop it off to the running back who gets 5 or 6 yards. Again, time is not a factor here, so I guess it was kind of okay that they didn't call the timeout. But if they had made the field goal, you were going to need more time to get 10 points. It would still be a long shot, but you were going to have to score a touchdown or a field goal, then recover an onside kick. So I still think they made a mistake by not calling that second timeout before the field goal. But nonetheless, he missed it. So now it doesn't really matter because time is not a problem. Murray with a throw. There's a nice throw. Did he get the feet in bounds? That's the question. They say no. Well, we got to look at that on replay. Usually when they think they didn't get the feet in, they usually do. Got the ball, one, and a shin. The shin might be in. This might be a Garrett Wilson play. Oh, no, the hand was out. Yeah, he's out. The hand was out. He's out. Nice throw, though. Kyler finally woke up, started playing football, so that's good. Go to the Maserati man. He does not. Almost throws a pick as he tried to go to his security blanket, Trey McBride. It's fourth down. You better calm down, defensive backs. This is 4-down territory. Too many times on third down, the defense thinks they won, and then the team goes for it on fourth down, and it's like, no, you didn't win. We're going for it, and then they get it. And, of course, they are going for it. So Tyler in the shotgun, as is his wont. Now they call a timeout. They didn't like it. Fourth down, you got to make sure. You got to make sure. Game on the line. 3 minutes remaining. Game on the line. You never know with Murray. He could do some Murray magic. You never know. You never really know. Does Marv want to be out there in this drive? We don't know. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he doesn't. Yeah. Sometimes he's thinking about going fishing. We don't know. We don't know. All right, fourth down and 4, 6 on the play clock. Man in motion, right to left. Murray with 2, 1 snaps it. They do blitz. He throws it. Oh, my goodness. A one-handed catch by Michael Wilson to save the game, at least temporarily. That's a first down. Incredible catch. Risky throw. My goodness. Nice play by 14. My goodness. Clock running, not really a problem. They do a running play, and it works. Well, gets 8 yards, but stays in bounds. Not sure I agree with that. Now we're wasting a lot of time, but still, again, there's more than 2 minutes left. There's plenty of time, plenty of time. So you don't really have to rush that much. Blitz coming. He avoids it for a moment, then goes down. And that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Yeah, McDonald's being aggressive on defense. He's blitzing the hell out of him. Didn't work on one, worked on that one. Now there's 2 minutes left. 3rd and 9. Game on the line. But it's 2 down. I mean, it's 4 down territory, so you don't need to get everything on 3rd down. 2-minute warning. Get the 4 yards. I mean, the question is, why are you going to Michael Wilson when you on a needed play? You have Trey McBride. You have Maserati Marv. You're going to Michael Wilson? Now, he made a hell of a play, so you can't really. But why are you designing something to go to Michael Wilson when on a needed play? When you got to have it, you got to go to your best players, my opinion. And that would be McBride and Harrison. Michael Wilson, 3rd. So that's where we are. Cardinals still in it, despite playing poorly for 3+ quarters, because the Seahawks did not deliver the knockout blow. They let him off the hook. If Seattle loses this one, there'll be a lot of gnashing of teeth up in the Pacific Northwest, I tell you that much. Mina Crimes won't like it very much. She's a big Seattle Seafish fan. They should change it to the Seafishes. What's a Seahawk, anyways? A hawk that hangs out at the sea? I've never heard of this. Really, the sea fishes. I mean, if you think about the sea has a lot of fish in it. It doesn't have a lot of hawks in it. Hawks are in trees. The sea chickens, Doge says. Yeah, but what's a sea chicken? Chickens don't hang out in the sea, Doge. Chickens hang out in farms. The whole thing doesn't make sense. The whole thing is fugazi. You know? It doesn't make any sense. There's fish in a sea. There's not hawks or chickens. There's fish. Seahawk is an osprey. I don't know what an osprey is. Chamberlain. The hell's an osprey? All right. Now Kyler Murray, 3rd and 9, looking left, throws to underneath to Dortch, who gets the yardage, and there you go. So they're in business down to the 28-yard line, and this is what you fear with Murray: the 2-minute warning, the 2-minute drill, 2-minute offense. You know he can operate this very well, and at least. And with his speed and all that, brings that extra element. Clock continues to run, but you don't really care about that. There's enough. You're close enough now. You don't have to worry about the clock much. A sea farm, Dode says. There's no farms on the sea, Dodes. Throws it out to Marv. Gets a few yards, gets out of bounds. 2nd down. An osprey is a bird of prey that eats fish. Okay, so what? They hang out above the sea and then they dive down and eat the fish? I don't think that's good. I think the Seahawks should play the Dolphins. I mean, can a Seahawk eat a dolphin? Probably not. It's probably too big. You know. They should be called the above the sea Hawks then. They're not in the sea. They're above the sea. All right. Kyler Murray now looking to throw. Oh, my goodness. And that is a risky pass. No, that's not interference, McBride. He's going for the ball just like you were. Boy, that was risky. Must give Gannon a heart palpitations. That was risky. Risky. Love picks him up perfectly. I mean, I don't think you can call that. He's jumping up for the ball. You jumped into him. I don't know. I don't think you can call that interference. 3rd and 5. 5 seconds on the play clock. Running down. Oh, problems. Now he's calling a timeout. Wasted that timeout, Murray. Not that it matters that much because you still have one more. And 1:16 on the clock is no problem. Atmo says, is the Jets-Dolphins game subject to bad weather? Well, what do you mean? It's going to be in Miami at night. So, yes, it could rain. What do you think happens down here, Habmo? It rains. A lot of times it does rain in the evening at nighttime. That's the most likely time that it rains in Florida. So yeah, I don't know what the forecast is, but yeah, it could be raining heavily. All right, they fake the blitz. Now he throws it to Marv, and he's got it. Wow, he just threw it up, and Marv made a nice play. That would be a great throw. So it's so weird. Murray plays so bad, and then he just wakes up in the 4th quarter and starts making great throws. It's like through the game, you're thinking, are they getting rid of this guy? But then this stuff happens, and you're like, well, maybe they're not getting rid of this guy. 1st and goal, 50 seconds left. Are they going to pressure? Are they not? McDonald with his famous amoeba front here. A lot of people on the front line. Clock ticking down. They don't care about that. In fact, they're running the ball. They do have a timeout, so you don't want to be too casual about it. 33 seconds. De Mercado. 2nd and goal. Who called timeout? Somebody called timeout. I guess the Sea Chickens did. The Sea Ospreys. We should call them the Sea Ospreys. Or just the Ospreys. The Seattle Ospreys. It's just amazing. Marvin Harrison and Kyler just both woke up and said, all right, time to play football now. I guess. Guess it's time to play football. 4th quarter. Let's win it. Okay. Should have done some of this earlier. All right. So Murray now, 2nd and goal, 33 seconds left. Plenty of time. He's got one timeout in his pocket. He's in the shotgun. And they snap him the ball. Looks to his left. Goes out to the running back. And it looks like he's going to get in there. And he does. So here you go. Here's the scenario. Do you tie it up or do you go for 2? Looks like they're going to tie it up. And the thinking probably also is we're at home. We have the advantage. So just tie it up, play for overtime. So we're going to get bonus football, everybody. Looks like. Bonus football for everybody. An extra point up and good. So 20-20. See, you did not deliver the knockout blow, and you let him back in the game. That was the problem right there. Too many teams, you let the other guy back, hang around, and then they're going to come back. How many times do we have to see 2-minute drills? 2-minute drills are sometimes a lot easier for offenses to run. Number one, the defense can't sub if you don't sub, and so they get gassed pretty easily. Whereas you know where you're going, they have to follow you around. So that's a problem. So you see the conundrum really that the Cardinals have, right? What the hell is this quarterback? Bad for most of the game, good in the clutch. It's like, what the hell is this guy? Well, I knew Kyler could do it. He is good with those 2-minute drills, but he looks so bad for almost all of the game. Mhm. Gangrene Gene is playing fantasy football. I hate fantasy football, Gangrene Gene, but I hope you do good. Hope you like it. Looks good on you, Gene. Hope you like it. Well, game's not actually over. 28 seconds. The state animal of Washington is the Olympic marmot. Yeah, they should be called the Seattle Marmots. That'd be good. All right, Sammy D back to pass. Let's see how aggressive. They're already at the 40-yard line, so he is going to be aggressive. All he needs is a field goal. Let's see what he does. Looks, rolls, throws it away. I'm going to call that a throwaway, so that doesn't count against him. Dixon. Why are they showing Dixon on the sideline? I'm not amazed they tied it. I mean, this happens all the time in the NFL. That's why you getting that field goal there at the end was bad. They had to score the touchdown. You got to deliver the knockout blow when you have it. All right, Darnold now in the shotgun, looking to pass, looks over the middle, looks to his left, fires, got Smith-Njigba. I would say that's a solid throw. They got a rush. I'm going to say that last one was a great throw. Second level throws, yeah. This is a perfect throw. Man got out of bounds anyway, too. Well, they're close to field goal range now. They probably just need about 10 more yards to make it a little easier. Official review, everybody. We got to officially review it. Frankie's Funny Farm. Yeah, got to keep the jokes flowing whenever possible, Abmo. Got to keep it light, you know? We got to try anyways. Got to do things a little different here at FSPN. I think he's out of bounds. All right, so 18 seconds remaining. They really need about 10, 5, at least 5, but preferably 10 yards. Now there's a timeout. Another one. Need at least 5, I would say, preferably 10 to really get this into the kind of range you want. But this has turned out to be an entertaining game at the end. It was a little sluggish earlier, but now they're showing Jason Myers warming up. All right, now Darnold's in the shotgun. He's in 11 personnel, and they're going to run the ball. So that means they're comfortable with their field position. Well, they get a few more yards. They'll take it down here, call a timeout. So Myers takes a sniff of the smelling salts. Not sure if you want your kicker smelling salts before a game-winning kick attempt. Yeah, but hey, if it works for you. All right, so a 52-yard field goal attempt with 4 seconds remaining. And it is bueno. So after all of that, it takes a last-second field goal to defeat the Kyler Murrays, the fighting Kylers. So the fighting Kylers were basically thoroughly outplayed the entire game, made a furious comeback at the end. Marvin Harrison Jr. woke up, did some things, stopped dropping the ball. Kyler Murray woke up, made some great passes, and then they thought they were going to overtime, and then they gave Sam Darnold way too much time, and he killed him. See, and that's another reason you should have gone for 2, right? I would have gone for 2 myself. You can't give these NFL quarterbacks these days any time at the end. They're going to come down and beat you. How many times have we seen it? Give a guy, what was it the Mahomes had with the Bills, like 13 seconds in the playoffs? 13 freaking seconds. He came down and they got a field goal. 13 seconds. So you have to be aggressive, I think. I mean, somebody else would say, well, yeah, if you go for 2 and you miss, then you lose the game. Well, you lost the game anyways. So I guess if they went for 2, maybe it wouldn't have made a difference. I guess the way to think about it is if you went for 2, you'd be ahead, but your defense still needs to make a stop anyway. And when you didn't, they would have kicked the field goal and beat you by 2 points instead of 3. So who cares? So go for 2. But the idea is you got to hope your defense can get a stop. That was a great throw right there. Yeah. You lost, but you made them work for it. Yeah, at least you didn't look like a dead team walking. With the ball starting on the 30, it only takes, yeah. And for some reason, they started on the 40 because there was a penalty, actually. So you screwed up the kickoff also. You got a penalty. They started on the 40 because of the penalty. So I guess it's probably the right move to tie it up. You needed to stop anyway, no matter what. And you just didn't get the stop. And that was the real problem. And Sam Darnold looks like a real quarterback now. Yeah, well, I guess that's the way to look at it. If you miss it, you need to stop anyway. If you miss the 2-pointer, then you lose, and that's it. The game's over. But if you tie it, then you got to tie it and then get a stop, and they couldn't get the stop anyway. The score is it's over, Dino. It's over, buddy. It's all over. Seahawks win. Cardinals lose. The final score, the actual score that's important is the Sam Darnold Frankie score. And the Frankie passing score for Darnold wound up being 1.370, which is a C. So I still think And if you think about it, he had 4 elite throws, 1 great throw, 4 solid throws, 11 routine throws, 6 bad throws, and 1 throw away out of 27 passes. So I got to think if this scoring system makes sense given a performance like this. So Darnold's score is weighed down by his 6 bad throws, which are -1 multiplier. He didn't throw any interceptables, but he did have 4 elite throws. So I don't know if this score gives you enough credit for elite throws. Maybe elite and great throws have to be increased. So if I increase the multiplier from 5 to 6 for elite and 4 to 5 for great, he goes to a 1.556. Man, this is making it all right. I'm going to have to work on this. I think my system is really making it very, very hard to get above a C. So I think I'm going to have to change it. Maybe I just have to change this numerical score and the equivalent to what a C is and a B and an A. I got to rethink it. Because you don't want it to be. This is a really good game from Darnold, if you think about it. 4 elite throws, 1 great throw, 4 solid throws, 11 routine, but 6 bad. I mean, the 6 bad is hurting him. But really, when you make 5 great or better throws, you should really have a better grade than a C, even though you made 6 bad throws out of 27. I don't know. So I got to rethink the math on this one. But that's why we do it. That's why we do it live. F it, we'll do it live. That's why we keep track of these passers live. We're looking at these passers for one thing, but we're also refining our system so that it can be good to go when we're looking at these college quarterbacks for the Jets potentially. Right. Seems better than a C. I think my system right now is too hard to get out of the C category. Basically is what I'm saying. It's like you're almost always going to wind up in the C group, and you don't want that. It's got to be hard, but it can't be that hard. So I think it's a little too hard right now. So I'm going to think about refining it. So thanks everybody for joining. Please consider joining the channel as a channel member. You get exclusive videos, exclusive items, including the academic paper called The Loser's Curse, which is all about the NFL draft. And yeah, so 114 QB rating. Yeah, that doesn't matter to me, Gangrene Gene. I have my own little system. But my system is under refinement. 111.4 is a good quarterback rating. So that tells you something. So he should probably be, if you think about it, he should probably be better than a C on my scale if you're getting a 111 for their scale. Now, I don't love the way they do grades either, but still, it's got to be better than a C. So I got to work on the system, but that's why we're doing it live. That's why we're refining it. So right now the math doesn't math very well. I got to change it up. So I'll do that tomorrow. But thanks for joining tonight. Please consider joining the inner circle or the inner square or the inner triangle, where you get exclusive items, exclusive videos. Some of the videos I show you things that you would have to pay for, like a PFF subscription or a DVOA subscription or a match quarter subscription. All those things cost money, and I do videos on them so you don't have to pay that money. And that way your subscription to the channel pays for itself. So please consider doing that. Otherwise, consider subscribing to the channel or just giving it a big thumbs up. Appreciate everybody. We'll see you on Sunday morning. I guess it's already Thursday night. Wow. So see you Sunday morning for Coffee with Frankie on Sunday, 10 a.m. Don't forget, Coffee with Frankie, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. The Ireland game will be on. We'll have lots to talk about. I'll see you later from FSPN headquarters. Frankie from Flatbush, out.